You baited me to step out of it. Anyway, let's do this. You have an image of a evil person. Litwin said, the housekeeper's challenge, no. He'd just get kicked by someone. After stream with Morgenstern I lost my life goal. I really don't give a st about his girlfriend's feelings. Is there something more important than hype? That was real love. I would watch her, to see where she would go. You didn't fall head over heels for Brultova? I wanted to gift her a Bentley. Colonel Bustyrenko. General Kukuldini. Let's just play, winner gets Dilara. I was trying to punch. I showed her what impulse was. Vile act. Show that money does talk, get some hype. Become more successful. The would take me to the police station. Let there be the light. Oh no my ass is too tight, 20 million. I just threw it out the window. Into the crowd. Buy a Bugatti. And that's how it all started. Gambler always ends up. Hello, what's up? The first burning question to you then when we were flying out here. You went on a stream and said you didn't want to give the interview anymore. Why? Well, I said I only wanted to reschedule our interview. It was because of my laziness, my weakness, and my reluctance to step out of my comfort zone. So, you went here, we met, you baited me to step out of it. Anyway, let's do this. Let's go, BH. Let's go. Alright, let's start by breaking down your success first. Let's talk about shaving heads first. This went viral and a lot of people talked about it. Even though the idea isn't new. You had done this before with Amaran. Look, I've had this thing with shaving heads since 2018 to 2019. The idea was that my friends and I would get together, drink with the ladies, and when it came to challenges, we needed some kind of proof of intentions. So we'd ask, are you betting your ass on this one? And if the person bet his ass and didn't complete the challenge, then he'd get his head shaved. I guess it's a lot easier to lose your hair than your ass. No ass was penetrated. Oh, thank God. Of course not. Why was this idea revived in the first place? There was a time when I won some money, say, in a casino. I noticed my viewer count was a little down. So I wanted to boost it a little. My viewers were suggesting in the chat that we should probably join some Twitch streamer and do something together. I just realized that it would only cost me a little to make him shave his head bald. It would take him a couple of months to grow his hair back, and his audience would constantly ask him why he's bald, so they'd mention me every time. That is some kind of hype. How do you personally view this action? Is it just a joke to them, or do they take it seriously? Or is there a person who takes money from you, for example? Let's say, Hesses takes your money. Doesn't that seem cringe? Why would it be? He is selling his hair for money. This creates hype and content for the streamer. There is a lot of discussion going on as to why are you bald? I don't think it humiliates them in any way. Moreover, I paid decent money for that. You know what I find funny? The fact that you paid Rest Orator to shave his head. Considering he had been bald for half of his career, that's hilarious. No, I also paid him 30,000 rubles to drink certain whiskey. In a nutshell, he drank it and almost immediately burped. Our agreement was that he had to drink it without burping. After that we didn't get along too well. But there were also people who refused to shave, right? Who exactly? Bratishkin, for example. Oh yeah. I think I offered him 20 million rubles to shave his head. I guess you could say he brushed me off politely. How did you take it? No offense whatsoever. I understand that we are very different people. I drink a lot, gamble, hang out with girls. Swear, show my penis. He, on the other hand, is a quiet, down-to-earth guy who plays video games. Moreover, I think he did this just to show he is somewhat honorable, not a sellout. He is a great guy. Does his refusal make you respect him more? Even for 20 million, which is a lot of money, he refused? Or do you think he is an idiot for turning down such insane amount of money? If I get to choose between the two, I'd choose respect. He seemed somewhat arrogant to me. How can you not shave your head for 20 million rubles? Anyway, that's his choice. My job is to make the offer, his is to refuse. Who did you want to shave the most? If we streamed it and I'd personally shave Drake's head, I'd be f-king shocked. How much do you think it would set you back? Either insane amount of money or just for respect. An insane amount would be between $8 and $15 million. Between 700,000 and 1,500,000 rubles, I think he could do it for that. He would definitely refuse for 2 million. It cost me $1 million just to have him follow me on Instagram, so what's there to talk about? A lot of money. By the way, about Drake, I'd also like to mention that when I stream, he sometimes joins and comments on my streams from his official account. We even talk and joke around. He promised to visit me on his jet one day, and we would hang out together. You were ready to hang out? Aren't you afraid? The only thing I'm afraid of is that I don't speak English. It might be a little weird to communicate with him. Through an interpreter? That's the only way. Personally, I wouldn't even be able to show him around, go to a club, or even sit at the table because using Google Translate feels super cringe. Let's move on to breaking down your successful year and the legendary challenges, whose ideas, frankly speaking, belong to Litvin. Am I right? Yes, you are. Why did you decide to steal his ideas and increase the reward instead of coming up with something new? In February, Mikhail Litvin launched challenges for money for viewers. These included greetings from soccer stars, a subscription from MrBeast, and lifting a can of lit energy to Everest. mellstroy stole the idea and increased the reward amount 10 to 15 times. Well, I had a goal at the time. For the following half a year I wanted to go viral, generate some hype, achieve growth, you name it. I wanted the hype to be at least somewhat positive. Litvin announced his challenge. The first idea that comes to my mind. Why not keep the challenge the same, considering I have a lot more money than he does? I had. And simply increase 15 times the payout for the same action. He could have gained even more hype if he had outdone my prices. But in our interview he said that he is poor. He said that you offered an insane amount, and that he didn't even have enough to cover the reward for his own challenges at the time. Do you believe everything people say? I don't. I think he had enough money. It seemed like in his last interview, whenever he was asked about money, he got very evasive. He doesn't want to talk about it. Have you noticed that? Like many people, I'm more open about that. Okay, anyway, he has such a high view count. Followers, different businesses. He said he was only able to pay off his 10 million debt back 3 to 4 months later. Okay, I don't have any confirmation or proof of that personally, but I don't believe it. When you were beating his price, at that very moment, did you have any doubts that his might be a foul play? How exactly? Well, that you're stealing an idea. Well, I paid 15 times as much for that. I consider this to be healthy competition. I never claimed that this was my idea, that I'm the F-King genius. No, it was all his idea. I copied everything, just increased the reward 15x. I saw it as the greatest prank ever. It's just that. Has anyone done this before? I didn't just increase it 2 times but 15. You do understand, when he offered 10 million for MrBeast's follow on Instagram, I had to offer 150 million. This is tough. Do you really think that MrBeast's follow is actually worth 150 million? MrBeast 150? No. But the hype is worth it. Is it really? Absolutely. Did you realize the fact that when you beat his price everyone would accept your challenges instead of his? Most likely, yes. I'm just showing that money talks louder than everyone tends to think. So you just wanted to show that money talks. Show that money does talk, get some hype, become more successful. All of that. By the way, do you like Litvin's content? Do you respect him as a content creator? Not that I respect him, but I think he's cool. There are things I would never have the guts to do, like approaching strangers and pissing them off, knowing they could punch me right in the face. I've done something like that before, maybe even worse. But at least it was always in my own place. I've never crossed the lines by bothering random people outside. I can bother people who are on my stream or at least at my place, because it's my territory and I can behave like this at my place. I wouldn't be able to do that outside. For real. Looking in other people's closets is an important part of the Vipiska. Everyone likes to brag about branded stuff. Bloggers, rappers, streamers. Even Zubarev showed off his closet. This is Tremple. I'm not a clothes person, but I'm trying to keep an eye on my style. I have a lot of things, so my stylist and I even made a catalog of them. First of all, don't get mixed up in them. And secondly, to buy what you need. Now I'm gonna show you the looks that I'm sure I'm gonna wear to the Vpisca. All these things I ordered with the help of usmall.ru and they took 10 days to arrive. It's a large marketplace that redeems items from US stores. And at their own prices. That's why many, including the manufacturers who left, can cost up to 30 to 40% cheaper there than in Russian stores. There's a huge selection of branded sneakers on Usmall. Line Nike and New Balance. Branded clothing from US Polo, Tommy Hilfiger, and thousands more. It even sells health products from American Herb. And most importantly, all the stuff is original, and you can pay for them with a Russian card. If something goes wrong on delivery, or you receive a defective product, Usmall will fully refund your costs. As always, a present for you. Promo code with up to 27% discount on all categories. For both new and repeat orders. It's in the description. Download the app from the link in the description. Or buy the QR code on the screen. Here it is. And order brand name clothes, sneakers, and health products from stores across America. On usmall.ru. Litvin said in his interview that if he were gambling you could have ended up being his housekeeper. And it's worth it for me to descend into the same underworld for today. mellstroy can be my housekeeper. How did you react to that? Clearly he has been offended because, for example, if we go back to that challenge. Mr. Beast followed me first, I got all the hype from Mr. Beast's follow. Honestly, if I had given the interview before him, and said the exact same thing about him, he'd have been right here downstairs, posting stories, crying and shouting, "Come out. I will punch you in the face, answer for your words." So he's allowing this kind of shit talking even though I don't remember saying anything like that about him. Would you go downstairs to meet him? No. I mean, we could meet theoretically but not for a fight. No way. Let's say, hypothetically, it is your first meeting. If we randomly see each other somewhere? Yes, let's say it was random. What would your conversation be like? Let's visualize it. We meet. He asks if I said some stuff. I respond, yes I did. One thing leads to another and then it's a conflict. He says, what the FK is wrong with you? I say, he doesn't like my response. And ends up punching me in the face, possibly breaking my nose or jaw. How does this end? He'd end up paying the price with his health in the same way if not worse. Would you ask your bodyguards to handle this? What do bodyguards have to do with it? No, these people are responsible for my safety in that very moment. But generally speaking, just for the sake of lulz we could make a challenge for Litvin's head. Dang it, wait. I'm just kidding. I mean if he punched me for no f-king reason. Either me or someone else would beat him up later and that's it. First of all, it's hard to imagine both of you would start talking aggressively like that. Actually I would talk like a normal human being. Secondly, I don't think Litvin would punch you if your only words were, what the FK is wrong with you? I would assume he was already nervous before that, and his emotions peaked when we started talking. It's just that I know him from different sides, I guess. Well, it's because you were able to get along well. We couldn't do that at all. All we do is talk shit about each other in your interviews. Yeah. Talk shit about each other in my interviews. We're not gonna pretend that we have just come here to your place because we've been recording the interview for 12 hours. It was dark and now it's bright. It was the middle of the night, now it's daytime. Yep. That's tough. Anyway, let's take a look at your place. There is a minibar with some cups, tableware, utensils, forks, spoons, knives. The beer has been here ever since we moved in. This is my working desk, where I stream. I've been streaming all this time. Got myself this chair so that my back doesn't kill me. And here's the camera. Is your camera really that expensive? Yes, it is delicious indeed. It costs around $500,000, am I right? The camera itself, yes, it costs around 500,000 rubles. Sunflower seeds. The essential attribute. Just the sunflower seeds. A perfume, and then the F-King book, The Art of War. What makes you read The Art of War? I meant to read it a year ago. Seems like you haven't done it yet. I haven't even opened the book yet. Here is where I put my hookah. The same place where I stream. Hookah, bam bam, and all that. How come you got hooked on hookah? Honestly, it helps me to relax. Just like smoking. What's interesting, I don't smoke cigarettes or anything like that. I can do without hookah for months, but sometimes I can smoke it every day for a month, having 5 hookahs a day. I'm more careful about it now. I try to smoke no more than 1 hookah a day. I try. The fridge looking pretty neat, huh? Easily. What's inside? Oh, it's a F-king mess. Some shit like tea, but I guess it's normal hotel stuff. Like cold drinks. Some kvass barrel that my mom brought me. Some heavy artillery on the top shelf. Well, yeah, some whiskey. Chivas, 25 years old. I see you've been practicing. No, I only drink 18-year-old Chivas and that's all. Just like today. Coming back to challenges. Do you have a price tag? How much does mellstroy cost? What do you want me to do? One day, challenge, to be a housekeeper. No. No. Even if you paid me $5 million. No. Pride or hubris? Pride. Some basic principles. Just no. You should understand that anything can happen. And that role was taken by me. Mbappe did a shout out to you. Come on. Drake. Yep. Mr. Beast followed you. Your name has appeared on MT Everest. As I reckon? What is the biggest achievement for you so far? Everest, and shout out from the football players. I just realize what kind of risk that is for people. That is rough. I don't think I would be able to do that. Climb that peak? I wouldn't have the guts, yes, of course. It's a risk to life. Let's talk about some embarrassing moments for you. 1,9. The biggest one is probably the story of the 13-year-old from Lithuania who recorded a video of the president saying hello to you. You decided not to pay him $2 million. Okay, let's put it this way. 40% was because the video was actually shit. So, 60% was my fault that I hadn't posted a text about this challenge. It's just that I said during one of my streams. I was still drinking wine then. I said, I would give $2 million to anyone who could record a video of the president saying hello. I wanted the president saying hello straight from his office. And he knows who he says hello to. Yes, I did not F-king like it. Shit happens. I do understand that it's a very controversial issue. You could clearly tell that he was wishing you happy birthday or something. Well, he congratulated me on some 11th of May. Yes, on a national holiday. March 11th, Day of Restoration of Independence of Lithuania, but as you mentioned before, a hello from a president of any country and you will pay $2 million. In fact, the criteria were met. Yes, you might not have liked them, but the criteria were indeed fulfilled. I may have disliked them, but it turns out as my mistake, that I... Yes, it's your fault. You probably think that I'm looking for excuses, don't you? Well, indeed. Well, it just so happens that I paid $100,000. Turns out to be my fault. Fully yours. Well, I guess we'll have to pay remaining $1.9 million. Just because I made a mistake. But the video was really bad, I didn't like it. I'm trying to make the point that the video was shitty. Why would I pay $2 million for this? That's not what I had asked for, and I didn't want this. On the other hand, had I posted a text with all the requirements for the challenge, no one would have said a damn thing. Honestly, I realize deep down that it's my fault. That's why I'll pay the remaining $1.9 million. Alright, I'll really get rid of this F-king impression that I screwed people over. I'll take care of it. It's just that when I pay this much I have to have some kind of confirmation, otherwise I will embarrass myself. For that mistake I will pay up. This kid who recorded the president saying hello faced a lot of backlash and hatred. The president say hello to some random streamer who promotes online casinos? President. They asked, can't you see what's right or wrong here? On the other hand, he was bullied at his school. For being a loser because you had scammed him. The guy's reputation was tarnished. You know, he comes from a regular family and lives an average life. He wanted to get them a nice house. He even dreamed about his future life that you would help him achieve. All of this was taken away. No, it's not taken away, everything is fine. Everything will be fine. Positive. I've already mentioned before, he is going to be just fine. The question on everyone's mind. What will you do, Vasily, if YouTube is finally blocked in Russia? Well, personally, I'm going to retire and do something I've been putting off for a very long time. Specifically video games. Specifically, GTA 5 RP. Let's go. GTA 5 RP is the most ambitious project in the online GTA universe. Every day there are more than 40,000 users in the game at the same time, and they all play their own unique roles and personas that they create themselves. On September 13th, the project will celebrate its 5th anniversary, and in honor of that, he's preparing a lot of big activities. And for our subscribers, we have a bonus. Register on any game server and use promo code VPISCA. This is where he appeared on the screen. The promo code gives 12,500 game credits and VIP status for 10 days. This unlocks premium content. By the way, don't worry so much, we're still going to keep filming the VPISCA. We can do it right here in GTA 5 RP. Somewhere in this world dwells Bulkin, Kovinsky, Jaspin, and Marmik. And even Sanya Zubarev hangs out here somewhere on these game servers. Definitely Strawberry. I guess you could say these challenges have brought your popularity to its peak. What does this peak feel like to you? Horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. It's nice on one hand when people recognize you out on the streets, even here in Cyprus. Even small kids, teenagers, men, women aged 40 plus all come up to me to say hello. Are these people mostly foreigners? Yes, we don't have a lot of Russian-speaking people here. If there are some Russians, they recognize me immediately. And it is very bothersome. That's why I have to go outside with my bodyguards. That's why I don't really want to be outside sober anymore. I really don't like people staring at me. I'd probably never in my life be able to do a concert. People to look at me, there's 10k people, or 2k people, or 1,000 people. I couldn't, I'd run away. On camera, it's one thing. You sit at home alone, look at the numbers, and that's it. Do you think your peak is going down or do you believe you can surpass it? It all depends solely on my actions now. Honestly, I wanted to say that this is very unusual for me. I don't normally give interviews. This was a serious step out of my comfort zone I'm so used to. I reckon it's going to help me break out of the apathy that I have been in. Because my viewer count and popularity hasn't been the best. I think it's because I've been playing RPG video games. I could play for 15 hours straight with very few bathroom or food breaks. Meaning that I have been severe apathetic. I wouldn't call it depression just yet because I know it's a lot worse than that. Why have I been apathetic? I was at my peak, with hundreds of thousands of online viewers, a lot of money and so on. Now all of this is slowly disappearing. I don't feel life's simple pleasures anymore. I've always had to rely on alcohol. Just to be able to enjoy life because being sober I was disappointed in everything and in everyone. Including myself. It's because I'm the same person as everyone else, I have my vices, I know my weaknesses. This makes me even angrier with myself. I don't have any reasons to be happy about in my life. Asterisk. Hold on, the only thing that made you happy was your viewer count, the number? I tried to get inside my own head and I reckon that after stream with Morgenstern I lost my life goal. Because I had reached that number, I had broken my own online record. Considering I've been streaming for the past 8 or 9 years almost every day with only one 14-day break. And those were long everyday streams, not just some short ones. That stream with Morgenstern reached 740 or 720,000 people. After this any number wasn't doing anything for me anymore. Even though I had 100k people watch me on average when I streamed alone. But you could see I was a miserable, sad seasucker. Because I didn't enjoy it at all. That booster guy mentioned the online was flooded with bots. Those aren't real numbers. I know that. How do you know that? I have people who stream on Twitch. Then they go on Kick, they have 1 viewer like 9 viewers. That's how it's done on Kick. Were the real numbers about 100,000? I'm thinking 200,000. I'm thinking 200,000. He said that you saw the chat. It wasn't nearly as active as it should have been for that number. Look. Casinos are not some stupid FKS. Say, I had a stream with 5 casino promotions, each one paid $100,000 to $120,000. For the stream. I'm not even talking about stream with Morgenstern, that's a whole other F-King story. Do you really think casino would pay me such an insane amount if I had faked the numbers? Let me explain the casino's possible logic here. It was indeed a big event. You're at the top of your popularity. Morgenstern's coming to your stream. Morgenstern, who is the biggest pop star of 2020s, came to you at your peak. And you have this tandem. Well, a lot of people wanted to see our faces together in the same frame. It's big event. Moreover, he was well compensated for his cameo as he is a big star now. I paid $1 million. And of course, if there are big numbers involved, casino will only profit from this. Look, I'm gonna tell you this. Nobody has ever gambled just because I told them to. For sure. I don't exactly understand how I can prove this. But I really don't want to make excuses here. If we take that stream with Morgenstern in particular, do you know how much I was paid exactly to gamble on their websites? Millions of dollars. Exactly $3 million. I paid Morgenstern $1 million at first. He agreed and he was coming. I started negotiations with casinos. The deal was they'd pay me $3.2 million so I'd make some profit. But instead, they deposited that money into my account instead and I ended up blowing it all during the stream. After the stream, I talked to guys and told Morgan that I had been given $3 million for the stream and apparently we F-King blew it. They were surprised to say the least. Then we planned to go fishing and stream. Long story short, around a month ago he messaged me, saying that I hadn't apologized to Liza for that issue with his girl. No offense. It's just a question. Brother, it will be hard to offend me. Do your best. Okay. Why is your chick being F-ed by a fat grandpa? The next stream with him would cost me $3 million. I would have to pay just to meet him and stream together. Kind of hurts my feelings. Wouldn't this have been easier if you just apologized? I believe he would have been ready to stream with you for free. I said, listen, I propose the following option, let's just meet up and talk. Liza will explain it to me, and I will apologize to her in person. Not on camera, right away. I'll say, is it hard for you to say that word out loud? No. Not if I'm wrong. They didn't want to do that. Moreover, this is absurd. Look. Yeah? We're streaming. I said something like, Alisher, please don't get mad. Something like that. So I warned him in advance that this question might be unpleasant. He showed confidence by saying I couldn't possibly make him mad. So that question about that old dude was probably unexpected for him. You do realize that the way you asked him was super rude? Yes, I do. Extremely rude. Look, on the other hand, his girl Liza had an interview where she shared the story about how she was FK'd by an old fat FK. Red, Ced, Russian prison slang, means rape, usually male. Wait. Ced? Can this word even be applied to women? Well, I'm joking. He raped her. Not Ced. Imagine, the person has gone through this violence. And this will probably haunt her for many years. Does this mean I support rape? No, but the way you put it shows that you depreciate her trauma and you're making fun of it. I guess there was a hint of irony. It might have come off like I had no compassion, yeah. Imagine you're in his shoes. How would you take it if you had a person you truly love and appreciate? If it hurt my feelings, I would ask the person to be more polite and respectful. Even Litvin said there were two options. Either to leave your stream right away. Or punch me right in my F-King face. Or punch you right in your F-King face. Damn this guy's though. All he does is punch everybody in their F-King faces. Let me tell how I would start this one. In what sense? In any sense. I mean, most likely, it would not hurt me directly. Yes, the person said something rude, okay. I would assume it's probably because he was a bit tipsy or because it was just part of the show. He himself is a showman, he knows the drill. Hype. Hype. Well. Yeah. So it turns out that hype comes before feelings. Of course. I really don't give a shit about his girlfriend's feelings. And what about Alisher's feelings? You've really played on those. Well, yes. To sum up our short conversation so far, it seems that hype beats 150 million and hype is more important than any feelings. Hype has a lot more value than money. Is there something more important than hype? What things are more important than fame and money? Because that's essentially what hype is. I guess your family, your friends, your health is more important. You can't buy love. Love is stronger than money. No. Hype. Stronger than hype. Yes, love is stronger than any fame, and any amount of money. If I fell in love I would give 0 FKS about everything. But I can't fall in love with anyone at all. Vpiska with Mel is perhaps the most nerve-wracking in history. While we were on an airplane in Antalya, Mel went on the stream and said he wouldn't do an interview. And we can fly back. For some reason, though, everyone thought it was a warm-up. So the first thing I did in Cyprus, I was looking for tickets home. Mel had us worried about everything, except for one thing, which is that we can to fly back home. After all, as long as the world has aviasales, nothing to worry about. Aviasales is a service for buying cheap airline tickets. Respect. Speaking of that, let's talk about your first love. I was 15 to 16 at the time. I had just got into boxing. Because I experienced a lot of bullying for being horribly thin. It was FG scary. So I got into boxing, and after that, for some reason, I had this idea in my mind that I wanted to talk to girls on VK. Because I was super shy to talk to girls on the streets. I thought that I'm too cool to come to girls first. I think I had some complex, or I was just really shy. I don't even f-king know. So I saw this girl on VK, her name was Karina. She was a year or two younger than me. So we met up, and that same night we had petting. You know what petting is, right? It's when you touch each other through the clothing. There is some kind of friction going on, hugging, etc. So eventually IFG fell in love with her. She wasn't fat, but her thighs were super thick. She also showed up in mini shorts. I was FG drooling. That was my first time meeting a girl. Apart from seeing my classmates, I was head over heels for her, completely lost my f-king mind. I was super jealous. She didn't like me back, by the way. She talked to me just because she was nice and respectful. But she wasn't attracted to me as a guy. For a few months I had been jealous of her own FG brother. I saw her seeing this guy all the time, and I was like, who the FK he was. Turned out it was her brother. We lived practically next to each other. She lived in the private sector. I lived in an apartment complex, but it was super close. So when she left her house, I would watch her, to see where she would go. She didn't know I had been watching. So you were stalking her? Pretty much, yes. One time she saw me. That was FG cringe. Even now thinking about it makes me feel cringe. In the end I was met in love. It was true love. She went to a summer camp a couple months after during the summer. So I get it. Someone had FD her there, some shit like this. So when she came back I started losing the interest. But she, on the other hand, became more affectionate. I was f-king shocked to find out how this all works. When I'm in love with her, she doesn't give AFK. When I don't give AFK, she wants to be with me. What the FK is that? Well, anyway, in the end she started dating another dude. After a year of relationship with him, I had been streaming by that time, I found out she had hanged herself on the door handle. And after that, I really wanted to remember what it was like to love. You know, when you're head over heels and you are so childish and have that lust for life. Everything is great and fun. But I couldn't do it anymore. Even if I wanted to, I opted for my career instead. Did you go to her funeral? No. What did you feel when you found out? I didn't give a shit, I think. I recollected few memories with her. A lot of time had passed. I actually remember something about her. When we were talking, at the time, she was cutting. You know, people have it. Self-harm. Yes, self-harm. It was really rough, not gonna lie. I talked to that guy. Well, he said that he came back home from work and saw that shit. He immediately called an ambulance and all that. He was f-king shocked. Frankly speaking, they did fight quite often. She had severe depression too. Do you remember why you stalked her? What was your purpose? To find out that she had been cheating on you? No, I was horribly jealous. Absolutely. I am extremely jealous. Do you think she took the ability to fall in love again from you? I don't know, did she traumatize you? We're gonna have to see. But you know, it wasn't her death that traumatized me. Her rejection did. Meaning her rejection traumatized me a lot more than her death, for FK's sake. You get the point? Well, that was crazy. So her rejection hurt your feelings? Yeah, I guess so. I don't remember what it was like. But I assume that's exactly the case, yes. I mean, to experience this FG roller coaster. It was super FG painful. Just imagine how FG insane I got. She had 146 friends on VK. I checked every single one of her friends. Every single picture for her likes. Do you realize what the FK that is? Right now we can laugh about it, but it was rough back then. I guess she did take the ability. As if I'm not capable to love anymore. What do you think, she hurt you so much that now you have a grudge against all women, right? Because of that, when you look at women you kind of see a piece of meat. Just an object for sexual favors. Why do you think a woman can cheat on her husband? If at some point in their marriage he stops being romantic and care for her, that's a reason to cheat. For example, why do you think a man cheats on his wife? A man can cheat too. It's just that whenever a man cheats, every woman gets pissed off, calls the man AFG schmug, that she needs to take her half from him, apartment and etc. Let's say I agree, okay. But when a woman cheats, oh oopsie, your own fault my dude. It's probably because she was unhappy in the marriage. Statistically, men cheat 2 times more often than women. It does happen. Who made up such statistics? Well, I saw it in Rhymes and Punches not too long ago. Sounds very FG convincing to me. Convincing, right? FK, yes it is. This is my scientific basis. More like pop science. The source Rhymes and Punches. You know, if we talk about FG grudge again, I don't even know. Did you have any relationship after that though? An actual relationship, not a situationship. The only relationship I've had, it was back then, only once in my life. Mind you, I didn't even date Karina. I was madly in love with her and she was like, go FK yourself, just so you know. Was Karina the reason why you got concussion? I got concussion because of a girl with whom I had relationship in high school. I saw her at school. She had a thick, yummy ass. In a nutshell, she was 2 or 3 years younger than me. And I wrote her on VK something along the lines of, hello, I'm from that school. Let's meet up and have a walk together. We could eat something together, for FK's sake. So we met each other. And we liked each other and started dating. To be honest, this was some ridiculous, short high school fling. Wait, was this before or after Karina? This was a year after Karina. Yeah? How come? How did I get a concussion? Some dude was sharing her nudes at school. He had them because she had sent it to her ex a year ago, before me. So he had sent it to everyone else and they started sharing and posting it at school. So I found the guy who was sharing those pictures the most and we ran into each other accidentally. I was coming back home from my boxing training and he was with his friends, so they immediately offered to settle everything in a fight. I said that I was really tired because I had just been training and that there was a F-king crowd against me alone. Kind of unfair. This is nonsense. One thing led to another, so he threw a punch. I evaded it. So I ran away home with the remaining stamina that I had. The next day I came to school and see him heading to the school cafeteria. I came up to him and I had this backpack on me at the time. Well FK, I really FD up this time. So as I was trying to punch him, my F-king backpack moved and the heavy weight and the force of it made me miss the target. He saw all of that, comes up to me and just hits me right in my FG face. We knocked each other down to the ground and someone stopped us. Something like that. The guy's friend is here, by the way. Him and we travel together now. Really? Yeah. I guess you never know how things can turn out. When did you break up with the girl? Literally soon, by the way. Our relationship went downhill. Because of the pictures? When he had punched me, after an hour I felt nauseous. My nose was bleeding. So someone took me to the hospital. I was diagnosed with the concussion. I spent there 5 days. She came there to visit me. So after that we broke up. I acted, perhaps, like a true man for once. Or as a battle cuckold. Who the FK knows? The audience will tell us. I just don't understand what is the role of a fighting cuckold, as you said. Look, I'm sure some people will say I did the right thing. Well, at least I stood up for her. I'd say overall I did the right thing in my opinion. But for some reason you still broke up with her. Well, everything went FG downhill afterwards. Probably because I didn't beat him up. You know? I don't know. Maybe there were other reasons I was unaware of. Did it bother you that you lost a fight? Of course. As a guy, that was bothering me a lot. But I made my peace with it. It happens. You said that you did boxing at the time. Were you any good? No, not at all. I just did it for myself, to keep my body in shape, to increase my self-confidence. I did know couple of combos though. Let's talk about Morgenstern again. Had you considered a possibility that he might just stand up and leave? I had thought everything over. At some point I thought there would be a fight. Really? Yes. I had to ask at least one provocative question. He took it well, good job. Do you think his reputation was tarnished after the stream? I don't even know. He told me there was something like that. I mean after the stream for the next 2 months. He wanted me to apologize for that. I think I have different mindset, I don't know. It's absurd to apologize for such a small F-king thing. He knew what was happening on camera, that those 3 hours were just a FG show. He had to know we were putting on a show. I didn't even ask him to clean my F-king room, or set up a hookah for me. I didn't even try to humiliate him in any way. What do you think is worth apologizing for then? Let's say, someone insulted another person for something they didn't actually do. For example, after our interview if I find out that one of my cups from my minibar was missing. And for some FG reason I assumed you had stolen it, but in reality, I might have just lost it somewhere instead, then I would apologize to you. Does it ever happen to you? Yes, quite often, since I'm a heavy drinker. I can make a lot of mistakes. Morgenstern in our interview mentioned that he had offered you friendship. But you refused. What did you think about his offer at the time? Do you think it was sincere, or was he just looking to use your connections like Drake for example? I assume it was not sincere as he would benefit from it. Benefit? Benefit, yes. I don't believe in such bullshit as friendship. Well, he came over, you streamed together, you drank together. No, he was paid $1 million in advance. And at that very moment he FG teleported here. We really tried to put on a show worth $1 million. You even talked about how much it would him to do a porn shoot. Yes, he said he'd do it for $5 million. Do you think it is substantial amount of money? I feel like he has never even seen $5 million in his life. He always throws out different numbers because he always bargains. I think he has $5 million. I mean, if he sold his ass, all of the apartments, his real estate he bought, then yeah, he might have $5 million. Did you tell him how much money you had? Did I say something around $200 million? Yes. You know, in my head that was my total net worth. Your brand. Yes, my brand. The whole TikTok project, all my Telegram channels, Instagram, my face. I just estimated it like that. If the real net worth is 20x less, I'm fine with that. That was just my opinion after all. Plus, I'd like to mention that I had a case 3 months ago when I won $10 million for a single stream. For a single stream. I mean, 1 billion rubles. When you win this much it's pure luck. But it doesn't mean that your net worth is $200 million, does it? Yes, I'm not trying to base my net worth on one lucky event. But if we take into consideration all of my video editors, I can't even say how much content they generate. I can tell you that I pay them $5 million every month. This is just to cover the edits, memes, etc. How many memes have been made to me? Maybe you've seen me on TikTok quite a bit. I guess the phrase, "what kind of business is that, BH, will be forever imprinted in our pop culture of 2020s. Reference to a Russian song that is associated with mellstroy by Kizaru. I feel like this phrase is a lot more popular than the FG song itself. Do you know what the thing is about this track? We're discussing my net worth and stuff, right? Correct. One of the editors decided to cut a clip of me singing, "What kind of business is that, BH?" from a super old stream. Super old stream. One of the editors decided to cut a clip of me singing, "What kind of business is that, BH?" I was sitting and singing that song. I was drunk with this girl and I would just sing that over and over again. When he posted that video it went viral. I was at my lowest at the time, you could clearly tell, just as I am now. But I managed to get my shit together back then. I will do it now if keep doing the right things. This interview is one of those things as it pushes my boundaries. And I step out of my comfort zone. They have been helping and they will help me to get to $1 billion. I may be the first streamer to have $1 billion. $1 billion? It all sounds like a fairy tale, a delusion. It doesn't work like that. But if you believe in yourself and if you have achieved something already, why not achieve more than that? How much money do you owe your editors now? About $10.5 million right now. I reckon, you said that you were not going to pay it back on one of your streams. I assumed I wouldn't pay anything back because they have been abusing it. They sell one edit 5 times and moderators see no issues here. It seems like it's moderators' problem. They should. Well, I understand that. It's just that there is a lot going on my plate right now. I'm sure someone will be able to relate. You know, when you're burnt out and you want to leave everything behind, tell everyone to go FK themselves. But right now I assure you the payments will be done, it's just a matter of time. The faster I get back on track mentally, the faster payments will be made. So, like, clips from this interview would count too. What do you think your real net worth is now? Not $200 million anymore? Let's just multiply my daily earnings by 1.5 years and that's the sum. Let's do. Right now I'm making $50,000 a day because there is only one casino sponsor. I'm negotiating with 2 to 3 more. Their prices have been a little down, but I expect they pay at least $60,000 per stream and so on. Overall, it can be around $200,000 a day, let's put it that way. Multiply this number by 500. We need a calculator. This would be $97 million. And 200,000. I guess my whole brand costs 100 rubles. What do you think is different between you and Alisher Morgenstern? And what similarities do you both share? Well, I think both of us are outcasts. Okay, FK, or shitstroys. For FK's sake, both of us are a little disappointed in a sober, normal life. A little? Just a tiny bit. Okay, well, I can still do something about it. I don't think he can at this point. We both have this trait to put on a show. Make an impact, a legacy. An imprint, you know? An imprint is a good word. More like a big pile of shit. I'm just making fun of myself. How do you differ? I treat money in a different way. I mean, he is totally in love with money. He can promote any kind of shit in his Telegram. Absolutely kind of shit for the past 3 months. He has been promoting some kind of FG crypto coins. Did he say something like, yes, I scam you but I'm getting paid for that? I remember he said something like this about his coin or something. I think he warned his followers not to bring him any money because he can scam them at any point. Well, I can't do this. I would not be able to be so shitty with my own audience. To bite the hand that feeds. Title, mellstroy calls own followers Borov. The only time I can lie to them is when I pretend that I'm in a good mood while I actually feel like shit. Alright, I'm always transparent with my stuff. I don't see any point in hiding it. Maybe that's why I've been so unhappy lately. Because money likes silence, as everyone says. I'm constantly talking about the FG money, showing how much I'm making, etc. Maybe I'm somewhat unhappy because of my excessive transparency and honesty. You know? I'm really open with my audience, I can't even describe it. They even know what my DK looks like. I'm literally naked in every sense possible. I have nothing to hide or to tell that I haven't already. Well, except for a few things that could get me another criminal charge. I've been sick and tired of those FG criminal charges on me. Anyway, let's go. So we went up to the 2nd floor, where I sleep. I just come here to sleep. Let's show them around. There are a few caps. Some underwear, water, a bag. Also, just so you know, there is more money in the bag. I store it here just in case. How much do you have in here? I don't know. Probably around $50,000. Maybe 100. You know, it's my stash for a rainy day. Some shit like that. There is another one. Inconspicuous. Let me show you, follow me. Let's go. Here we have a sink. I just brush my teeth here. I bathe over there. Where do you think my stash is hidden in here? Maybe in a box. No. In your t-shirt? No, here. Pick it up, yes. At least it's inconspicuous. Yes. You are good at hiding things indeed. Yes, that's crazy. You should hide somewhere where your enemy won't even consider looking for you. You are a conspiracy master. Easily. You are indeed. Your suite is around 300 square meters? Something like that. 300 square meters, that's impressive. Why are all of your curtains shut down? Why do you live as if you're a vampire in a complete darkness? I absolutely love darkness and the cold. Wherever I go I turn the AC all the way down to 18 degrees Celsius. I love darkness. I'm an owl. I'm very used to nocturnal lifestyle. I sleep during the day. What's the longest you've spent living like a recluse, not even leaving your suite? My personal record is around 2 to 2.5 months without seeing anyone or leaving my suite. You mean without even going outside at all? Correct. Do you remember when was the last time you were happy? As children get happy over some little things. FK, that's a good one. I'm trying to remember now. When was the last time I was happy over some little things? Yes. You mean something like a sunset? Or a sunrise? Yeah, more like a sunrise. Hold on, let me think. FK, this is hard. I don't even know. You don't know? Absolutely no. Or you don't remember? Both. I don't FG know. It was a very long time ago. The last time I stood still for a moment and just enjoyed nature or something. I don't know, it doesn't have to be nature. It could be some cake you had, a tiny puppy you saw and decided to pet. No, actually I do feel pity for cats. But I don't necessarily love animals. I don't have this thing when I see them randomly on the street and have this urge to pet and kiss them. I respect animals, I mean. Respect? But I don't want to FG kiss or pet them for FK's sake. I respect women and animals, right? Everyone keeps inviting me to climb a mountain. Go for a ride. But it only works for me when I'm drunk. Because it enhances my emotions. Doesn't it work when you're sober? Not at all for FK's sake. At what point in life did you notice that you didn't get the pleasure from anything anymore? At the very moment when I had my first big money. Big money for me is when I started making over $200,000 a month. Does big money take away happiness? I guess it's the money moment, yes. I mean I don't get any pleasure from other things anymore. I guess there is something inside of me that is dragging me down to rock bottom, so I would lose everything I have. In that case I guess I can enjoy little FG things as sunset, sunrise. A dog running around and shitting on the grass, you know. I think it's cool. To each his own. When waves crash on the rocks. You come from an average working family, your father had a factory job. And your mom worked as a cashier? Yes, she worked at a convenience store. By the way, you loved that convenience store, didn't you? Yes, I would visit her quite often. I used to visit her after school and we would talk for a couple of hours. It was cool. We would sit and talk, drink tea, or coffee with some cookies. The atmosphere was really warm. We would talk about life, my FG problems and so on. What did you think your adulthood would be like as a child? Who did you want to become? I didn't think about the future at all. At one point when I made $500 a day I was FG shocked. $500 was my dad's monthly salary at the time. When I first started streaming I had 400 viewers. What did your parents think of your future? Well, my father supported me in some sense. It was kind of weird, but he said if I ended up having FS at school, he would hire me as his subordinate at the factory. On one hand it's kind of supportive, but on the other hand it's kind of useless shit. Anyway, since my childhood I've had this urge to make money online. I would trade, I would bet in CSGO, etc. When I was 12 I tried to create my own Minecraft servers. I even watched all the tutorials for it. Already as a teenager, did you understand how to make money? I tried to understand. I was just trying. Were you punished often as a child when you screwed up? Well, my father did beat me up couple times. But it was in the 4th grade. After 5th grade he stopped doing that. But there was some kind of psychological pressure, yes. They would say if you don't study you will end up becoming a fecal sludge cleaner. A fecal sludge cleaner? A FG fecal sludge cleaner. I think our childhood was a bit rough when it came to relationship with our parents. My brother and I would often get into fights with them. You know, this constant need to sort things out type of thing. After my dad died I realized what bunch of bullcrap all of that had been. 57 hours and 2 minutes. All those confrontations, fights, arguments over who was right or wrong. What was the reason for the conflict? Our grandmother. What does your grandmother have to do with anything? We were backing our grandma but our parents didn't because of some shit that went down in the family. Our grandmother scammed our mom for an apartment, at least a part of it, to be precise. She met up with a notary and fraudulently got my mom to sign the document to her part of the apartment. Later it turned out she had actually signed away her claim to the inheritance, which was the apartment itself. As I understood it, in a nutshell. If my relatives see this interview, they'd probably be FG shocked to hear me say bunch of bullcrap. As I understand, you weren't really close with your grandmother anyway? No, that's the point. We were still close even after that. But our parents were shocked that we could still talk to her despite all the horrible things she had done. And this caused a lot of conflicts. Were you a happy kid? I'd say yes, I was. I have a lot of memories from that time. When we would go fishing. It really was FG happy. What was your most valuable gift to your parents? Most valuable? Correct. You know, my dad died around 1.5 years ago. As if I didn't have the opportunity at the time. Maybe I did have it, I would spend a lot of money at strip clubs. I could go to one and spend $6,000 overnight. Well, recently. I have bought my mom an SUV for $60,000 USD and an apartment for another $60,000 in Gomel, Belarus. Sometimes I would also send gifts to my brother for New Year's Eve. You know, we had some arguments over finances. Overall, he explained to me that I should share some of my wealth with other family members and so on. I gave them $100,000 for New Year's Eve that year. Then I gave him one of my casino partnerships. And he exchanged it for my apartment in Moscow. It costs around $400,000. Then there was this BMW that every guy wants. Which BMW would that be? BMW X5. You're the person who is responsible for supporting your whole family financially? I guess so. Meaning your mother. My brother. I mean, these are the closest ones. Your uncle? My uncle. You know, when I sent him $30,000 last year. He was really surprised. He told me how he had that lust for life once again. There were girls too. We drove in a convertible truck on Mauritius. We swam in the sea, rode on boats. I guess he had never seen such a life before. And he was FG shocked. After that, when he came back to Gomel, Belarus, he could not go back to normal life anymore. $700-800 a month working your ass off, it's hard on you mentally. Especially when you've had such an amazing FG experience. So what happened to him? I guess he became an alcoholic in Gomel. Did he ask for more money? No, not at all. So you happened to be the tempter. I mean, it's a good thing, isn't it? He became an alcoholic after that. He could not come back to normal life. I mean, every person decides what to do after that. Does your mom spend most of her time with you? For the past year, I would say yes. She has been trying to be near me and Sir lately. I think it's easier on her, to be close to her children. I understand her. We live here. Maybe we don't see each other as often, but at least we're close, and that's good enough. How did your family take your streams? At first they didn't take it too well, to be honest. My dad would come and tell me, don't do stupid shit. When I would stream at 10 or 11 p.m. I started streaming in high school. I was in 11th grade at the time. After that, when I first made my $100, which was 200,000 Belarusian rubles, they changed their mind. The average salary was 500 to 600,000 at the time, and I was able to bring 200,000 home by doing stupid shit. They became more understanding. What did they say when you started having problems with law enforcement? 18. Damn, this is one of a topic. My first problem with law enforcement was in 2017 when I stripped girls down in a chat roulette. I was one of the top streamers at the time. Online viewer count was around 40,000 people at the time. I was f-king shocked. Underage girls. Yes. I mean, not every woman was a woman of age. I mean, there were 18-year-olds, but there were probably even younger girls. That's a fact. But hey, I was 17 at the time myself, so I really didn't give a FK. I still don't feel any remorse to this day. The point is that it did bother them a lot for whatever reason, so they overreacted, in my opinion. I was arrested at the time. Let me tell you how it went. I was laying low at the time at some people's place. Nobody had seen me for a while, but they had been looking for me all over because a criminal case was already opened. So you were hiding. In the end, the investigator called my mom and told her. Just show us your son. All of us would go to our local police department just for a short talk. We F-King trusted them. We came to them. They came out of the car. I assume there were 4 of them, case officers and investigators. I even came up to him to shake his hand, to say hello. He looked at me for 3 seconds, thought it over, shook my hand and said, "Okay, get in the car, you're coming with us," and he told my mom not you, though. She was in a complete shock. In the end, after some arguments, they did in fact let her in the car to come with me to the local police department. Was this some kind of an off-road police vehicle? It was just a regular operative's car. A type of car where a cop sits on the driver's seat and F-King masturbates and looks if other people are not doing drugs or whatever. So they brought me to the police station, took me to the room. And the woman investigator asks me if I was Burim Andrei Alexandrovich. She had that F-King tone in her voice too. A criminal case on you was opened according to the article Tic-Tac of the Criminal Code. That was F-King rough, I tell you that. My parents were told to bring me some clothes within the next couple of hours because they were gonna put me in. They put me in temporary detention facility, which is a bit less harsh than a jail. I was in a complete F-King shock. My parents had it even worse probably. I tried to explain myself a little. They gave me some documents to sign. I remember watching those YouTube videos where they recommend not to sign anything. Especially if you don't know what you're signing. It could have been a F-King mess. Because of that excessive stress, I started thinking really slowly. You know, I completely forgot how to F-King write. I couldn't even hold the pen straight. You forgot how to hold a pen? FK, yes I did. Anyway, when I was able to hold the pen again, I told them I had to go over it to understand what I was singing. They waited for 5 then 10 then 15 minutes until I finished reading. Because of that stress I was only able to read 2 lines and grasp them. Now you understand how F-King slow and stressed out I was. In the end, I only signed 1 out of 4 documents and they said, "Okay, you're going down then." And then they took me to the first floor and put me in a cell. I had to wait for a few hours before police officers came and opened the cell. They searched all over, then put me in handcuffs and then put me in Bobik, and then we went to TDF. Then I found out that my dad had a F-King bottle of vodka and decided to make a mess at the station. He yelled, "Give my son back to me." I was thinking at the time, why the FK would you do this? Are you F-King stupid? Now I see this in a different way. I think he did a good job. He decided to get you out. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it was F-King stupid, but the gesture. He came in there and made a huge mess. He was nervous. How much time did you spend at TDF? I spent a week in there. How was it? Look, it was pretty rough. You enter the cell, they have this super thick door. In the cell you see a few guys. One is suspected of attempted murder, the other one brutally murdered somebody. Another one, I don't even remember. Let's not mention him. Anyway, they even had a window that was covered with 2 metal grids, thickest F-King walls, and even 1 bus stop. I was thinking at the time, why the FK did I do this? I could have been free. The atmosphere is absolutely horrifying. F-King scary. We F-King communicated. Talked about some shit we had done. They smoked cigs. We did some push-ups. Did they try to pressure you somehow? No, absolutely not. These guys were mature, around 45 years old. Did they ask you why you were there? Yes, I told them that they were incriminating pornography to me. I explained what exactly I was incriminated for. I had been on the internet, talking to F-King Bethes. Yes, I was 17 at time. Or literally just got 18. I don't even remember. So I was on the internet talking to girls and made them undress. I just talked to them and they put their clothes off. So I was put behind bars for that. But I remember them asking whether or not it was in real life or over the internet. They asked if I had undressed underage girls in real life. And each time I answered it was over the internet, and that's all. Is law enforcement still haunting you? You've had troubles in Belarus, in Russia, in Dubai. Aren't you afraid that one day you actually might end up in prison? I'm trying not to cross any lines. Let's count. The criminal case for pornography was in 2017, then another one for slamming the girl's head on the table, another one was for military service. For military service evasion? Yeah. And the 4th one was in Dubai. I recorded a guy and posted him on IG stories who was F-King with me in the first place. I insulted him by saying, "Hey, F-tard. I guess I've had 4 F-King cases now. Yes, I've never crossed the lines. I think I understand what the lines are at least. This fly is getting on your nerves, isn't it? Can you believe it? So annoying. Are you afraid of prison? You know, if I'm being honest, yes. But I wouldn't want to speak out about it. I truly believe that your life attracts what you fear the most. The more you are afraid of something, the more likely it will happen. You know, be as it may. Imagine this, I'm walking on the streets with my mom. Some dude F-King punches her. And let's say I have pepper spray or a knife. I'd do it. I would end up in prison, but at least I'd know why. At least I would understand that it was worth it. This is all hypothetical. You never go outside without bodyguards. Yes, that is exactly why. I really F-King enjoy having bodyguards. The bag you have is pretty trendy, isn't it? You know, I truly consider this purchase to be one of the best ones in my life. I purchased it around 3 years ago and it still is in mint condition. It doesn't have a single scratch, it's not dirty or broken. It's super comfy. It cost around 140,000 rubles. Just because of this thing, because of that freak, this was some kind of exclusive collection. Just because of that freak. Well, this is the Statue of Liberty. Not exactly a freak. Huh? Does the Statue of Liberty look like a freak to you? Of course. I see. I assume this is your wardrobe, isn't it? Nobody ever sleeps here, so that's why all the stuff is out. Undies, socks, F-King caps, by the way. You do love caps. Yes, I have a shit ton of them. I can wear a new one every day of the month. I feel like a hat is your signature accessory. Yes, unfortunately I wear them quite often. I'm normally bald and it doesn't look good. So that's why I wear them. Do you have a lot of clothes overall? That's all I got. Is that so? Yeah. I might have a dirty tank top on the 2nd floor. These are the clothes I travel in. If I need anything I can go and get it at any time. I stopped chasing the brand clothes long time ago. Well, I guess this item can be some high fashion brand. Well, yeah. F-King DG. Dolce Gabbana or some shit. It's not even a brand, is it? Some tank tops. Well, here I have Armani, but it's shitty anyway. See, there are different moments in this pictures. Aliana, whom I slammed, Tsurim with condensed milk, Deadpool. This one is a friend who, well, he died. Richard down there. In a BMW. mellstroy working party. It's actually pretty cool. I showed this on stream and people loved it. They did? Yes, they said it was great. What are your top 3 favorite brands? Louis Vuitton, but I only like their bags because their sneakers are extremely heavy, as if it is 3 kilograms each. It's super uncomfortable to walk in. I guess Adidas, Nike, and, perhaps, something like Dolce & Gabbana. They're just comfy. Do you think that your style is a bit silly, like a hillbilly? What did you just say? Hillbilly? I look like a F-King bum. What the FK? I always strive to look like a total F-King bum. No. You have meme pics where you wear luxurious stuff. So I dress in luxury, but people say what a F-King clown. But this does look silly. You dressed lavishly, spent all your money on it but without any taste for style. Well, I told you that I had stopped chasing the brands. I wanted to assert myself. Yes, I did have sneakers for almost 2,000 F-King dollars. I wore clothes worth of 6,000, I must have been so cool. Your wristwatch should look lavish though. You know, I feel like I'm at this point where I really don't give a FK. So that even watch doesn't mean anything to me. Expensive watches? So what? Couldn't care less. You used to brag about your watch, didn't you? Well, yes. But I haven't worn it in a year or 1.5 years now. Was it uncomfortable? Yeah, you can't really sleep. You have to put it on, take it off, clean it because it gets dirty. My first Rolex cost 2 million rubles. Then I purchased another one for 6 million and the most expensive one was for 50 million. I bought it in Dubai. Well, I sold it for 20 to put a gambling deposit. Actually, I sold all of them to cover gambling expenses. Since then 0 FKS have been given about them. It did boost my self-confidence and all that, but in the end I was like, FK this shit, it's not worth it. By the way, I understand now why you burned $50K so easily back then. Yes. Because money doesn't mean anything to you. You will find a way to blow it anyway. I have completely forgotten about that until you reminded me of this. Yeah, I burned $50K on stream back then, to hell with it. When did you realize you have to incorporate the shocking factor and PROV action in your career? I think it was in 2018, slightly after the stripping story. My friends and I had a beer party. We streamed it. One thing led to another. We were offered to invite some girls over on our stream. We went to a club, met someone there and invited them over. Someone could flash their boobs, someone made some jokes, etc. It's just that everyone thinks I'm a trash streamer because people post highlight edits from 6-hour-long streams. This is the issue. People automatically assume this happens all the time, every minute. But overall I did have some cool streams. We had good numbers for a reason. Do you miss the time when you were in Moscow City? Not really. It was fun and all that, but the time has passed and that's cool. What stream is the most memorable for you from that time? It was amazing to see 50 to 60,000 online viewers for the first time. Also, you know what I remember? The stream with Edward Bil. That one is memorable. When I offered him 3 million rubles just to have a vodka shot, which wasn't typical for that time. I mean, just imagine, he was offered 3 million just to have a shot of vodka. He even took his time to think about it. He f***ing called someone. Discussed whether or not he should do it. This was a lot of fun. Where did you find all the girls? When we came to Moscow or even St. Petersburg, we would look for a person who would help us find the girls. Some would pimp, but not exactly. Just a person who has a lot of connections. Such person always invites the girls over. In Moscow we had 2 guys. When we first came to Moscow they would invite 4 to 5 girls, then 10. Over time we grew, more money, higher viewers count. Parties got bigger, apartments got bigger. So there were 20, 30, 50, 100, and even 140 girls at the same time at our place. Were they paid? We didn't pay them money. Did they come for free? Yes, the alcohol, food and everything was free for them. Also at the time there were these balloons, you could notice them on streams. At least we had a strong principle on drug users. Once someone was seen doing some shady stuff like sniffing some shit or ingesting drugs, he was kicked out on the spot. If someone looked for weed or something else, he got kicked out too. Believe me, it could have been a lot worse. Every time I launched my stream I thought to myself, please for God's sake don't let anyone die tonight. Were they okay with the fact that you brought over 50 or even 100 girls over? What about Moscow City's security post? We f***ing tricked them. Sometimes they would enter from a back door. Each keycard could be used 4 and more times. And last, but not least, we just bribed them. Everyone knew where you streamed. So the Moscow City owners didn't try to evict you somehow? They did. When my streams and popularity had blown up, the streams were done. Well, this was even before slamming the girl's head on the table. Right before a week or 2. They started to cut my lights off in the apartments and jam my internet. They somehow were able to jam the internet completely in the apartments. Moreover, a manager would come up to us and told us that we should leave. But they didn't have any legal base for that, you know? If only they had it, they would evict us right at that moment and I would just jump from one tower to another, renting all the apartments for my streams. Why did you talk so much about sex during streams? What do people want? Bread and circuses. Money, circus, and lust. So you were playing on people's basic needs and vices. Yes. It was drawing the most attention. Moreover, I also wanted to get laid. Just imagine, I'm a simple hillbilly from a small place. All of a sudden I have 100 girls at my place. Not just some random girls, but the kind of girls that make you f***ing stutter. That make you f***ing drool. Of course you must not show this and keep it cool. So I was interested in all of that and it was interesting for everyone else to watch. You know, a person like me should have appeared at some point anyway. A person who streams his parties. Yes, right now we're having more and more posers, but they will never get anywhere close to me. I'm dead ass. Did the girls fight for you? You mean for my DK? Yes. You mean literally, a fight? Of course. Not every girl was like that, but it happened from time to time. I'm serious. The fact that you had so many girls over, did it infatuate you in any way? At first, yes. Right now I'm used to it. It's because I'm not necessarily the most handsome guy on the planet. But at least I'm famous, I'm f***ing rich. For most girls this is good enough. So you buy them. I don't buy them. But it's more than enough for them. They don't give a shit that I'm an ugly fat FK. I mean, as long as you can get hard and have money, you're fine. What was the age of your audience? Children or adults mostly? By the way, I remember looking it up but I can't recall the F-King numbers. I think 6% were aged 35 plus. That was YouTube's stats. Around 40% were in between 18 to 24 and the rest were below 18. But hey, the nature of my content definitely wouldn't pique interest of a 10-year-old. They won't understand a F-King thing we were saying. Other than that, I think young adults aged 25 to 30 enjoyed it. A lot of people commented saying, AHHFK, what a nice party, I remembered youth thanks to you. Did you regret anything later? Yes, I regret a lot of stuff. What exactly? For example, when I slammed a Liona on the table. At the moment I realized that my anger issue took over me. I did something horribly wrong. I began to realize this. When did you realize this? I realized it literally in 10 minutes, by the moment when all of the social media public groups had posted about it. I was F-King shocked that I had done something terrible, that I was gonna have to answer to. You know, I thought someone might be waiting for me at my house with a knife and so on. You mean avenging her? Yes. In the end, everyone who came up to me said that I would have hit her harder. There was only one guy who said me that I had done something wrong. Only one person came up to me and told me that. Who was it? Some random dude came up to me in a club. He said, "Hello. You do realize that you were wrong. You hit a girl and everything." Well, I agreed with him and I took full responsibility for that. To the full extent of the law. This was definitely a mistake, and I've learned from it. I haven't done anything like that since then. There were a couple of times when a girl hit me. She took my face and punched me somehow. I didn't even say a word to her or touched her because I knew that I need to keep it cool. I need to control my anger. Nothing bad happened. She is drunk and stupid and it's her own fault that she punched me in the first place. So I learned the hard way how to control my F-King anger. I don't want to go to prison. I even promised myself that even if I was hit in my F-King face I shouldn't respond. People in the chat will write that if it was recorded on camera, how I got punched in the face, I wouldn't do anything. They would write that I'm a F-Nig doormat and shit, but at least I would be safe and sound legally. This is more of a priority to me compared to being called a doormat. Why couldn't you handle your anger when you slammed the girl? There were a few reasons. I had lost a big amount of money gambling a day before that. I hadn't had enough sleep. I always try to get enough sleep. Sleeping schedule is the most important thing of them all for FK's sake. And I had had a little bit of whiskey so I was tipsy. These are the reasons. On top of that, she provoked me by being under the influence of some kind of drug. She mentioned it on the stream. She said it was made from a cactus. It basically deactivates some kind of receptor in your brain, and she didn't give a FK about what I was telling her. She was only talking shit and insulting me. I guess these are the reasons. What is impulse? I showed her what impulse was. But listen, after that. Not a good reason to be proud of. At least we had a physics class 101. By the way, we met up later and there was actually a second stream with her. I gave her 800,000 rubles and we reconciled. Truly reconciled. There was another moment. By the way, this was F-King insane, come to think of it. I don't think I told anyone about this on my streams. I think a day before reconciling stream we met up without any cameras. We had a conversation, we talked about everything. Eventually we got shit-faced with some F-King tincture and made out. Made out? Yes, we kissed. Of all F-King things, this is insane. Turns out, if he beats you, he loves you. I mean, I think it's the F-King alcohol. Either way, I think she is not mad at me anymore even deep inside. We managed to settle this one. Let's reconstruct that night. What was it like? After the stream, she runs out to the elevator, goes downstairs where the hall was, sees 2 or 3 of her girls. Runs outside at first, then comes back, and she was waiting in that hall for the ambulance. Because she started yelling as if I broke all of her F-King teeth, her F-King jaw or something. And I was F-King shocked, how much she lied back then. The thing was, I just slammed her forehead, literally a slight push with my arm on the table. I was thinking this would teach her a lesson. so that she would finally start thinking straight. The litigation took 1.5 years. I'm serious, 1.5 f-king years. I will remember this forever. It was so f-king stressful. During the court hearings, the judge, prosecutor, and I watched the full 40-minute video about this shit. Just imagine, I knew that I had done something wrong and I regret that because I had lost self-control and etc. Picture this, the judge, prosecutors with lawyers on both sides. All of us are watching in a complete silence at full volume my profanity after every other word. During one of the court sessions there was a medical examiner, well, not the coroner, just some expert, who checked her physical condition, and concluded that she hadn't experienced any traumas or fractures but a mere physical pain. Meaning I didn't bribe anyone. It was her doctor that concluded that. No fractures, no broken teeth, absolutely nothing. I think she was also traumatized emotionally. That was her narrative. She said she became crazy after that and that she started doing F-King's drugs because of what had happened. Nobody believed her, that's all. Did you think this could ruin your career completely? Yes, I did. But a lot of people actually praised me for that, so only 10-year-old girls write in the comments that I'm a F-King idiot, but no one gives a F-K, who praised you. Someone did. Some accounts, guys, girls, I don't even F-King know. Maybe it was me who read those comments. I can't say it was only positive. There was a lot of negativity too, but even some girls said that she would have hit her harder. It's a F-King absurdity. Clearly you can't control your anger issues, there were prior issues because you were drunk and hadn't slept. But these are your F-King problems, aren't they? Why? Whose then? I completely agree with the fact that I was wrong. I just explained what other people think. In their mentality, say a guy from Sakhalin or Khabarovsk or Chita sees that a girl is insulting a guy like this. To him that is crossing the line and he would immediately one-punched her. But I just slammed her head on the table. I understand that I was wrong. It's just that there is a second opinion that there are guys who will not tolerate a verbal insult from a girl, let alone raising their hands. And that makes me sad. Nobody gives AFK, that's just my opinion. Nobody gives AFK about your set opinion, you know? I do. I mean that's the harsh F-King reality. The world is F-King huge and diverse. There are different people, different opinions. What opinion could there possibly be? What you did was horrid and vile. Indeed F-King horrid. Will you stop throwing a tantrum about it already? It seems like you're having a lot of fun. What's so funny? The fact that everything is F-King over. The fact that everything is great, no one was hurt, no one has suffered any psycho traumas after that shit. Just slammed her and that's all. It took me 2 F-King years to take responsibility for that. 1.5 to 2 years. I was in the court sessions, I paid her a lot of money, I apologized in the court. I learned my lesson. That's all. The crowd can hate me for that shit. But it doesn't matter because I can make the tables turn anyway. If I go feed a stray cat everyone will write that I am a saint. Why did she decide to come back and reconnect with you on your stream for the second time? Because I can be persuasive. Just like you, for FKS sake. Maybe I persuaded her somehow for the second time, I don't know. She came after all. Perhaps, it was Stockholm Syndrome, I don't even F-King know anymore. What is it like to do public service for 6 months? What is it like? I guess you could call it some kind of discipline. I mean, what kind? My F-King kind. It was my discipline all along. Did you do public service? Listen. I don't want to talk about this anymore, let's just skip this F-King topic. Oh, that freak, this is a neighbor. This is Mom's dog, named Tewa, he is such a freak, it's F-King hilarious. Yours? Huh? Your mom's dog? A good doggo. I personally find him so funny because he is so F-King silly. What's so F-King silly about him? Look at him, he is being curious. Such a sniffer. You're a sniffer. You're a shaggy animal, you came to hang out with us. What a cool dog. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Okay, next topic of our conversation is Booster. Come to daddy, little boy. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. And your conflict. How did all start? So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. It started with absolutely nothing, it was just a joke. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. I don't have any beef with him personally, I just FK'd with him a little to see his reaction. Why was it so important for you to make Dilara and him listen to Morgenstern's song? So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. I saw this in the chat, someone commented that they should listen to Morgenstern's song. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. It just happened that Dilara is Morgenstern's ex and current Booster's girlfriend. So I thought it would be hilarious to make him some kind of a cuckold in a way. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. It was just a joke, not the most offensive one. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Wait, it's not exactly pleasant when someone exposes you as a cuckold, especially if you aren't one. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Well, he proved that he wasn't a cuckold. He did. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. He proved it. He showed his pride. He is a great guy, isn't he? So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Because of the fact that he refused 5 million for listening to one song. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Yes. Well, in fact I agree, no cap. He did a great job. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. After that you offered him to play CSGO and winner gets Dilara. That's an absurdity. I launched a gaming stream and everyone was asking about Dilara and such. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. I also thought it was funny, why would you cry about it? Let's just play, winner gets Dilara and that's all. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. He took it very personal and decided to be a knight in AF King armor defending a woman, a battle CK. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Wait, do you really think he should have played? So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. He should have ignored it or laugh a bit like we all did. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Either laugh or just say that mellstroy. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Is AF King idiot haha or just ignore it completely. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Would you play if someone offered? Of course, there is nothing scary about it. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. I am a streamer, I can pretend that my bet was a girl. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Do you like Dilara? Do you know how it all started? I was in Mauritius. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. I was streaming and I told everyone I had had a dream about Dilara. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. For some reason everyone thought I fell in love with her for FK's sake. So I was talking about it on my stream and then it grew into something bigger. Speaking of her beauty, you know, no cap, but you should never judge someone's beauty. She is conventionally attractive, that should be obvious. Well yeah, could be. Don't you agree? I really don't have a sense of beauty or aesthetics. I could answer only if you compared her to someone. I don't think we should compare her to anyone. My type is a big ass, hers is completely flat, which I don't like. For me beauty is not even in the face, it's about the curves, the shape. I could probably date AF King Crocodile if it had the curves and ideal shape. So the beauty is in the ass? In the curves, I love ass. What type of girls do you like? She has to have a long tongue. Physically it has to be long. For me that's aesthetically pleasing. Moreover the blowjobs are top F King notch. Also, if she has naturally big boobs that's also F King hot. So if she has big ass, big tits but at the same time narrow waist, this is just insane. I really like curves. But I like ass the most. What about her face, her nose, eyes, and eyebrows? Well, the last time I liked a girl she looked like AF King Fox. Her face reminded me of a fox. A fox? Yes, a fox from the F King forest. So it was a lot of fun. But generally speaking, I really don't care about the face all that much. Don't you see any beauty in the face? I don't care what her face looks like. I wouldn't date top models who participated in Miss Moscow, Miss Khabarovsk, or some shit. The competition is still fierce out there. I wouldn't want to be jealous all the time. Bro, what competition? Your net worth is almost 100 million. Don't blow smoke up my ass. What about your threats to Booster? It came to that, didn't it? Well, yeah, but I didn't really mean it. I was emotional and overreacted. But threats to Booster? That's f-king absurd. All we did was jabbing at each other and goofing around on the internet, that's all. That was my fault and a mistake on my part. You were wrong. Absolutely. Sounds like a good reason to apologize for. Once again you brought up that word for FK's sake. Let me admit I was wrong. Good. You're so f-king annoying. By the end of this interview I will have apologized to everyone, to every single person I have wronged. You also said that Booster betrayed streaming when he started dating Delora. Yes. So he used to be a Colonel Bustirenko and now it's all gone. He is a General Cuckoldini now. Why do you think so? I'm just joking. Even his audience is making jabs at him. By calling him a Colonel High Heel. Look, before that he had been groovy and all that. He had been streaming and after that, well, I think I understand where he is coming from. Some shit may have happened, maybe he also became apathetic and doesn't strive for a goal anymore. He also reached 200,000 online viewers and that could cause his burnout. He makes some money and he has streamed enough, maybe it's time for him to take care of his personal life. If that's the case I totally understand him now. I wouldn't criticize him for that. I just want to FK with him sometimes. By calling him Cuckoldini, or a high heel, you know. It's just that you said one interesting phrase, that you, unlike him, was going to make it until the end. Yes. What did you mean? To become the biggest Russian-speaking streamer, with biggest views, biggest audience. I want this to last. Not just for a brief moment like I did 4 months ago, but keep the bar high. I just realized that I won't have any personal life, I can't really date a girl. I'm a f-king idiot so I chose this life myself. I opted for career instead. How long do you want to be the first one? At least a couple of years. In that state of mind which I had 4 months ago, when I was everywhere. If only I could last like this for a couple of years, I would retire happily. It's just that everything would have been done by then, I wouldn't owe any money to my editors, my audience would have received all the emotions, etc. What makes you think you won't burn out? I have been. I'm doing this for my audience and eventually I will still be unhappy. Even if I'm loaded with money, zero f-king difference. But at least when I die even haters will remember all of the things I had done. Do you think Booster was a role model at some point? Look, if we refrain from 80% of his jokes about him sucking a CK then yes. He promotes family values, respect your parents. He doesn't drink. I guess I envied him a little that he is so passionate even without any alcohol. But hey, as it turned out, he had been taking antidepressants. I don't know exactly how they work and affect you but this could alter your consciousness after all. I was somewhat happy for him and I wish I could do the same, being completely sober. Hang out with girls and entertain my audience with cheerful content which he did back then. I think that version of Booster resonated with you because much like you. He was loud, provocative, and even toxic at times. He spat on his girlfriend once for example. Now he has built his business from scratch, he has healthy relationship and he even looks happier. I think deep inside you want that too but can't for some reason. I think so, yeah. I wish I had a normal life. Abso-f-king-lutely. I want to be able to go outside without any bodyguards. I want to be able to go for a walk with a girl or to fall in love with someone for FK's sake. Have some free time for myself, you know. This would be great. But I can't. Lately I've been a slave to my bad habits, alcohol and another one. Actually, no, I have 3 bad habits in total. What are they? Smoking hookah, alcohol, and nitrous oxide, balloons. Balloons. Oh geez, I condemn this shit. Nevertheless, I'm doing it for now. Remember the voice memos where I was crying? This was because I had been high on the balloons. It completely FKS with your brain, alters your consciousness. Cons during everything I mentioned earlier, your attacks on Slava. Is your grudge that he was able to make it, to live a normal life? Isn't this my job after all? To provoke someone, plotting people against each other, start drama, make friends, etc. Litvin is very well known too. Then you had some kind of beef with Morgenstern, who is also big. So you're saying that I'm envying Litvin because he is dating a great woman Adele. And I'm envying Booster because he is dating Delora? Well, all of these guys have personal life, just saying. Yes, except for me. Except for you. If you talk about envy, you imply that I'm envious. I think it's really cool and I want to have a life like that too. But it's as if I understand that I set my bar a little bit higher and I have different goals. I guess I just think that I'm very impulsive, so this will affect my relationship a lot. Why do you always talk about someone else's girls? Y'all are so f***ing annoying. I'm just spitting facts here. Dilara, Liza, Adele. I also remember that you said earlier that you had bothered Igor's girlfriend, if you recall it. That also happened. I mean, you have this desire for someone else's girls. You wanna f***ing know why? It's probably because I got tired of f***ing regular girls and now I want something more complex, like a challenge? I don't know. Yes, that could be the reason. Or just to get some hype over it. The hype over Igor's situation was pretty f***ing successful, I'd say. Seriously though, how come I was able to insult 4 different girls over the course of 1 year? Perhaps, it's because I understand that this is a weak spot for a lot of guys, they get provoked easily. Psychologically speaking, when you try to FK with somebody's girl, you're subconsciously trying to assert dominance over them. Maybe I have subconscious fetish to expose someone as a cuckold. Or just to prove one more time that money talks. So you mean that you can buy any woman? No, not every person can be bought. So have you seen any reverse examples when you tried to conquer some girls with your money and she said no? Yes. You know, when I was fed up with all the small talk about how she was doing. What she did 2 years ago, whether she studied or worked. I did try to ask someone if I could just f***ing pay them $6,000 to sleep with them. And she was like, go FK yourself. Which is understandable. You need a special approach. The right approach and required amount can open a lot of doors. Let's talk about girls who you tried to flirt with publicly. For example, Amina. I wanted to gift her a Bentley just because she had helped me to get to millions of views. But in the end all of this was kinda fake. I mean, I only once or twice donated some money and that's all. Seeing all that, she increased my views and I wanted to pay her back by purchasing her a Bentley. I wrote her on Instagram but she never responded, so I thought okay, whatever. Eurus? Okay. What about Alla Brultova? OFK. Now that's a surprise. Hold on, I have to get my shit together and concentrate. Why? Because I know what you're gonna ask. As I get it, you promised her Limbo Eurus, am I right? No, I did not. Who did then? Yura did on my behalf. He promised it because I had asked how much he charged for Eurus. I told him I had been thinking about buying it for Brultova. I just wrote this and he immediately took it as if I was gonna buy it for sure. But I was only asking about the price tag, that's all. Yura told me that someone from your team had sent him 1 million as a prepayment. It wasn't like that. I was hanging out with a guy, he came from Moscow. He told me, I can bring any girl to hang out with, just tell me a name, which one? I was like, no way, you're full of shit. Go ahead and try bringing Alla Brultova here. At the moment I was talking to her already. He replied, easily, wanna bet? I said, yes, let's bet 20 million if she comes here in the next 15 days and steps inside my house here in Turkey, I will give you 20 f***ing million. Eventually she came on her own. I didn't even have to invite her over. I gave him 20 million. Wait, she came over to your place? Yes. She wrote me. She sent me a picture from my hotel. I was like, what the actual FK? That can't be f***ing happening. And she said, I'm here. So you met up for a coffee. We met up and had a few drinks. And that was about it. So there was no romance. Listen, we only had a good conversation. We laid on the grass enjoying the sun and ourselves. Chatted about stuff. And that's all. Look, I've heard different story. You wanted to see her. So you or someone else offered to buy her in Eurus. Buy it from Yura. There was a 1 million prepayment. That guy, whom I gave 20 million, he was the one to send the prepayment. And you didn't send the rest of the money due to different excuses. She had a lot of doubts whether or not she should come to Turkey. In the end she decided to come because she wanted the Eurus after all. But I didn't promise her an Eurus. I didn't make that promise. So she was kind of FK'd over in all of the scheming. Yeah. No, the guy's responsibility was to bring her in my house at any cost within 15 days. What he had promised her is none of my f***ing business. You know, the funny thing is that she came here anyway. I didn't come to her, she came to me. She had never seen me before and she was low-key scared. Do you f-king get it? Yes, it cost me 20 million. I don't give a FK. It's just that. It proves that in the end I was right. The only thing that shocked me the most was Alex Leslie's video. One of my students I haven't talked to in a while. He texted me, mellstroy wants you to fly to him. I'm FK'd up about this. Who came to Turkey? He did a breakdown on you. Should I mention the circumstances over his visit? Of course. The guy whom I had the bet with, he also proposed to invite Alex Leslie so that it would be more fun to hang out together. I said, okay sure. So I sent this guy $30,000 for him to just come here for a few days to party with us. It just so happened that by the time he came I had gone to Moscow, on the same day. What did he say in the video? He said that you went to Moscow because you had fallen in love with someone. That was his first statement. He acted as if he was consulting you on how to behave when you're in love. His next thought was that you were afraid of women, whom you really like. How did he conclude that? It's just that I had never seen him before, we hadn't even talked. Moreover, he hadn't seen me talking to anyone in front of him. Alex Leslie said that he had a lot of girls whom he knows, he calls them his agents. AFK. Anyway, he completely missed every point. Except, maybe for one little detail. What detail? In Moscow City, I deliberately didn't want to fall in love with anyone or have any relationship, because I was busy with my career at the time. What has changed? I'm sure something has changed. I don't have a strong opinion on that anymore. If I liked some girl, I would definitely talk to her about everything. I would probably still gamble though. Let's reiterate. You didn't fall head over heels for Brultova? No. Not at all. She does look cute and beautiful, but no. Okay, name me top 3 most beautiful girls in post-Soviet countries. Oh geez. What does your heart tell you? My heart? Nothing really. I mean, so you can't really name them. I can't think of anyone. In my opinion Brultova is beautiful. I just don't like her body. My type is more curvy, but her face is definitely outstanding. If you had an opportunity to spend a night with any woman in the world, who would you choose? I would choose Savannah Bond, but Ryan Garcia is f-king her already. I think I would pick an African woman with a thick ass. I don't know, I think I would bring her over from Africa. They have insane genetics. You like that? Yes, I really like curves. Such a luxurious bathtub. Listen, I have never even used it. I guess it has jacuzzi bubbles and everything. Do you like using bathtubs at all? Right now not really. I just shower couple times a week. An interesting observation, for the first time we're conducting an interview in such a limited space. That's how it should be. I spend here 90% of my time. Do you feel like this is your home? You get used to it, but I'm sick and tired of moving all the time. I really want my own place. As if I'm a f-king homeless. So you're not really putting effort into building a nest here. You set up your working environment. And that's all, yes. I just go to bed, put the clothes on my bed and that's literally it. I don't give a FK about clothes or any coziness. This suite has a massage room with Turkish sauna and hammam. These are the massage tables, you lay on them so you can gamble while you're getting a massage. Do you know what else is nice here? I don't have to go anywhere, I don't have to go to spa places, my suite has it all. You wanna know how it goes? First you lay here for a massage. After that you go to hammam. Just to warm yourself up a little. After you're warm enough you go to Turkish sauna. She lays you, wraps you around with that hot foam. After that she washes you. This feels very nice, by the way. Listen, I have a spontaneous question. Ask away. What is love for you? What is love for me? How do you understand this word? I understand this word, I guess. When you accept the other person completely. With all their flaws and you don't see anything bad in him. At all. Well, on top of that, there has to be some kind of affection or attachment. Complete acceptance? Absolutely. The way the person is. Yes. That's the love, I think. Have you considered a possibility of relationship? With one girl that will make you happy? Of course I have, why not? If we talk about your dream girl, apart from her appearance and looks, just her personality traits and features, what kind of person would that be? She has to really like me. Truly. I think this personality trait would be amazing. That's for starters. Second of all, she must not burp or fart in front of me. Never. Are you allowed to fart or burp? No, I wouldn't do that in front of her either. I would walk away. It's because I would never be able to get hard again if she farted. I've had this experience before. She has to be kind, honest, straightforward. The kind of person that can spend a whole month with me at home or party all the time. Well, not necessarily non-stop, but non-stop partying with you. She'd become an alcoholic really fast. In a nutshell, I would want her to be able to spend a whole month at home with me playing some F-King video games. Or we could go to gym every single day 3 F-King times. She just has to be there for me, with me, at all times. She has to support all of that. That's cool. Why do you surround yourself with semi-escort women? As far as I know, these are not escort women. They don't have profiles or agencies. These are regular girls whom someone met on the streets of Moscow. Got their numbers, invited them to one of our parties. She came to party and she was offered to travel a little and have some fun. On top of that, I'm being generous here with them financially. I compensate their monthly expenses. How much are you paying them? Well, $5,000. Right now you have 12 girls here. Yes. On top of that, no one is F-King obliged to have sex with me. I don't know if I'm F-King frigid, but I only have sex around once a month. People here come to have fun, to chill. They don't even work. They just enjoy themselves. They go to the beach. They go to the gym. I assume they won't even make the same amount working in Moscow. Imagine getting paid 450,000 rubles just for being here around me or for walking around. Sometimes when I drink I can text them to see if they want to join me. So now I have a company. It's a lot more fun to drink with the girls. Moreover, we have a routine here. Girls come here for 4 to 5 months. Then they leave, the new ones come and so on. It's just that some girls when they come here they think that I would be dating them when in reality that's not the case. And that's all. They realize they're wasting their time or maybe not. Anyway, easy come easy go. Listen, why do you get close with them so rarely? You mean why I FK them so rarely? Yes, I wanted to sugarcoat it. Don't you find them sexually appealing? I mean they are pretty but I don't really have huge desire. I don't have huge sex drive. Is it because you have been apathetic? Listen, it's probably because I'm always stressed the FK out. Cortisol affects everything. A lot of girls may think they have to SK my DK as soon as they come here. This shit never happens here. You rejected Morgenstern's friendship but at the same time you showed interest in being friends with Kovinsky. I only offered to invite him on a stream. Alright. But it's not the first time you speak highly of him. Yes. Even though he made those exposing videos about me if you remember them. It did happen. But in our interview he said it was, but it's gone now. After some donation. Listen, that's the whole point. I really don't have any beef with him. The guy literally hated me, he exposed me. But instead I decided to invite him on my stream, meet up with him and talk. I would invite a few girls over, we would all hang out together. I think the audience would love that. Good collaboration. In our interview you tried to promote the idea that you should purchase a vineyard and make him your manager. Have you considered this idea? I have, but I don't have any opportunities at the moment. If I had some spare money I would do it. This would be hilarious, I'm sure our audience would appreciate it. He also said that you should invest your money because your fame is not permanent and it's not guaranteed, otherwise you'll end up blowing all of your money. Well, not exactly a profit. I think it was pretty obvious for everyone. Because you have debts but no vineyard. I don't have any money either. True. Yeah, no money either. Jesus F-King Christ, this should be obvious for everyone. That gambler always ends up losing everything and in debts. Do you think that all of your problems are because of gambling? Most of them, yes, I think. It's because I've been gambling in online casinos since I was 17 to 18. Before that I had been gambling on different CSGO websites where you can bet different skins. You spin the wheel and you get a chance to win all of the skins that had been bet. I remember I played CSGO once. I had won a case whose worth was 60 cents. I bet this case on the website and at the very last second someone bet M4 Knight, as I remember. It cost $360 at the time. Is this some kind of a rare skin? It was somewhat rare item in CSGO. Well, $360 for me at the time was pretty big. The thing is that I had my case whose worth was 60 cents up against this super rare item. Do you realize that my chance to win was 0.1 and his was 99.8? So as the wheel was spinning all I could see was his profile picture. And when the FG wheel was slowing down my picture showed up and it stopped right there. So my bet was this 60-cent case against $360 M4 and I won. I got this rare item. I even jumped off of my chair and he called my best friend to tell him that I had just got rich. So you were ecstatic? I was all over. It was more than just euphoric. Your strongest emotion so far? At that point in my life, yes, I think so. I was 14 at the time, too. So as you may have guessed, I wanted to experience the same emotions again. I started betting skins, started betting on sports events, and then boom, years go by. I'm 17 or 18 and my friends decided to introduce me to casino, and that's how it all began. Just so you and the audience understand my path. Most of my problems are because of gambling. I don't go outside because I'm a hermit and I enjoy it. I don't want to work, I don't want to see anyone, I don't want anything. When you lose all your money gambling and get into debts at that moment all you want to do is just eat something, then go to sleep and never wake up. Looking back, don't you curse that skin? What a FG question. Do I curse that F-King skin? If I can get my shit together again then no, I don't. What if you can't? You still up to this moment haven't been able to. For now, yes. If I can't, then so be it. Honestly, I don't really want to change anything about my life, everything was fine, I'd say perfect. I can only exist in that reality now. When did you first realize you had a gambling addiction? I was streaming at the time. I bet 500,000 rubles on a bet that had 50-50 chance, T was either red or blue. I bet on red and I lost. It took me few weeks to save up this 500,000 rubles and when I blew it. Well, a friend of mine sat on this chair and they were not letting me go. I wanted to leave the place, I had collected all of my stuff together, I mean my shoes and clothes. I was ready to leave, I think it was nighttime and it was raining. They were not letting me go so I took a F-King knife and I stabbed the F-King chair my friend was sitting on. They got F-King scared. In the end, it was my friend's brother. There were two of them. Did it happen in Belarus? Yes it did. Anyway, I somehow made them leave the apartment just to look at some shit and I closed the FG door. They didn't even have their shoes on and it was raining outside. I left the apartment in a secret way and I FG ran away. Came back only after 2 days. I told everyone I had been sleeping in the woods when in reality I went to my grandmother, spent a night. And only then went into the woods. I was thinking about everything, about my life, etc. Well, my main point was that gambling leads to all of this shit and it is FG horrible. I didn't even understand how I was capable of such horrible things. It is really scary to overburden your nervous system like that. I was thinking about cutting everyone off. I didn't really have a reason to do that, but my logic was if everyone talks to me just because I have money then it is my duty to stop being friends with them first. How were you able to hustle this 500,000 rubles? Donations. I was streaming every day at the time. For 300 rubles I would drink a shot of vodka. Just imagine how many shots of vodka I had to take. I can only imagine. Well, not just me, there were a lot of people who helped. What do you feel in general, when you win? What can you compare it to? I haven't received any emotions from anything else for so long so I don't even know what I can compare it to. I guess you can compare it to a sex with a girl of your dreams who has an amazing body. Do you meet them quite often? Girls of your dreams. I mean, 4 to 5 years ago probably yes. Can you say that when you win in gambling it hits stronger than any orgasm? It depends on the amount of money. I mean, if you go and jerk off or win 10 million bucks, I suppose I'd choose 10 million bucks any day of the week. What do you feel when you lose big amount? You become severely apathetic, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to see anyone, You don't even want to have any pleasure. So if I lose big money and the hottest girl on the planet comes up and says let's go for a walk, I'd say just go FK yourself. Literally. It's so FG horrible that it blocks me from being able to have pleasure in life. Hence the alcohol, hookah, balloons. Why can't you just stop? Well, you know, as they say, everyone is chasing his first time. Perhaps I still remember the emotions from winning that M4 for $360. And I can't stop because I want to get even more emotions from this game. So I put $100,000 on a deposit, then 10 minutes later I see $600,000 on my wallet. Subconsciously I think that I need to withdraw the money until it's too late. But at the same time I haven't received enough emotions yet. I need to play a little bit more so I can increase my bank account even more. Eventually I end up losing FG everything. Same FG thing every single time. Over and over again. What was the biggest amount you lost? I believe somewhere in between $6 or $5 million within one day. What about your biggest win so far? I won 10.5 million once. 10.5 when you won 10.5. Did you have the same emotions when you won your first $360? No, not at all. Those 360 were the best. They were a lot more emotional compared to 10.5 million. So is it impossible to replicate? I think it's the same as with drugs, yeah. Every drug user is striving for that first time. Everyone wants to replicate the first time, but in chasing that they reach rock bottom. I understand that logic. I personally can attest that gambling is a real addiction. You know the thing about gambling? You want it all the F-king time. When you go outside and you think, should I bet a little? Or should I launch a stream and play a little? You can't even focus on enjoying the nature anymore. I don't give a FK if the sunset is beautiful today, my F-king bet is on. So the craving is constant. I'd say yes. I'm not craving for it when I have played a lot, for 5 hours and won a lot of money. Then I don't want it for the next 5 to 10 hours. At least I go to sleep, wake up, eat. And then it starts all over again. I can do without gambling 2 to 3 days at most, and then I fall into the trap again. Everything I have won. I deposit and I F-king lose. Online casinos sponsor you and they provide you with big money, but you're their perfect client because you bring everything back. Not only bring everything back, but also you promote them mostly for free, I guess so. At least some of it I reinvested back into the business, my personal development, like rewards for the challenges, TikTok payments. Even for myself I even managed to purchase some cars. I mean, it's like, well, somehow, I guess there's something at least. It's not like I lose everything that I gained. I'd say I give back a good 70%. Do you consider yourself a gambling hostage? Absolutely. Does it cause more pain or joy today? Pain. Do you think you could have any other lifestyle? Yes. What kind of lifestyle would that be? You know, I'd like to probably join Booster and Dilara's family as the third person. So that Dilara has 2 husbands. And then we would have a nice cute little family together. FK, I want Dilara to give a birth to my son and Boosters. And we would raise them the twins. Mutual children, they would grow up and become streamers too. What would you name them? What would I name my child? Yes, Ludik, a short form of a Russian word ludoman equals gambling addict. What about Booster's kid? What a provocative question. He is gonna cry now for FK's sake. Alright. I would name him Pedro. Pedro? F-king Pedro. So, you would have 2 boys, Pedro and Ludik? Pedro and Ludik, yeah. This sounds F-king ridiculous, but it's whatever. What do you think could help you stop gambling? Perhaps, if I find a higher bliss in something else. That would be the best option. Do you think that's possible? Higher bliss, healthy high, is to have passion for sport. Or fall in love with someone. These are healthy hobbies, I believe. I think if you truly love some woman, this should overcome any urge to deposit another dollar for gambling. It feels like you just want to replace one addiction with another. Well, I want it to be at least healthy. If I had a button now and the options were either to become a cuckold or a gambler, I'd rather be a F-king cuckold. Wait, so everyone who is in love is a cuckold? No. Only if you overly exaggerate the affection. It's just that guys act like cuckolds, most of them. I think they do unworthy things when they are madly in love. So I'd rather be unworthy rather than a f-king gambling addict. You're gonna have to tell me now what behavior is worthy when you're in love. And what is not. For FK's sake. You're so ruthless. Imagine this, I come home. Okay, just to see that Booster FK's my girl that I'm dating and I'm in love with her. Just a fantasy. Had I been a cuckold I would attack Booster on the spot. I'd gouge his eyes out, punch his f-king face. If I was a cuckold with 0 IQ. In my opinion, this is the definition of a cuckold. The common sense is to realize that. When I came home to see that Litvin is f-king my girl. Wait, Booster or Litvin? Shush. It was a good one. So Booster and Litvin are f-king her, that's another situation. The common sense is to just realize that she is a f-king SL and it's my own f-king fault that I was dating her and then just leave. Second option is worthy behavior, in my opinion. So you can't beat up the person your girl is cheating on you with. Because it's her own fault to begin with. If she didn't get close with other dudes, then there would have been no betrayals and no guys around her. It all depends on if your girl flirts with other men or not. If a guy FKs her he might not even know that she had a boyfriend, by the way. Do you think that mellstroy is a synonym for a word casino today? I'd say yes for 30 to 40%. Why not a 100%? Not a 100%. Because a lot of people know me but not everyone knows I gamble. They found out about me from memes, shorts on TikTok, Instagram Reels and so on. Russian-speaking audience, yes. They know me as a person who promotes gambling for the most part. I shall remember once again that I always try to mention that gambling only leads to disappointment, debts and so on. You will never make money gambling, for FK's sake. I think I lashed out at Timov first. When I heard that he, being my colleague, promoted online casino saying that he had deposited only 10,000 rubles. And was able to get himself a nice apartment, a Rolls Royce, and so on. It's just that me, as person who knows how everything works, all the nitty-gritties. I realize he is just a f-king liar. Just a f-king liar. So I was said that he could lie in such a blatant way. So that he gets more affiliates on his partnership program, for FK's sake. I went at him saying, why the FK do you encourage people to gamble 3 times a day? In fact, some TikTokers and some audiences who make a joke out of it. They should take it a lot more seriously. It's not a f-king joke. Have you ever seen a video in TikTok with his edited voice? And the video encourages to gamble or make some memes with it? Honestly, I haven't. You haven't, but I have seen a lot of them. People are making a joke out of it, they see an irony here. Why don't you just acknowledge the fact that you're making money of your referrals who had lost their money? Half of their lost money goes to you. So you make money of your referrals too? Yes. But I always tell people that. As it is. I show my partnerships, how much I made, how I made. Do you think you were the reason why a lot of people started gambling? Eventually, yes. Sometimes even unknowingly. You might have seen on the internet that people edit and post videos of my wins. And you can find those videos on the websites where you can see movies for free. So they edit a 5-second highlight where I won, jump off of my chair. And this encourages people to gamble and win and so on. With these ads a lot of people got hooked on. Undoubtedly, my streams have contributed to that as well. To my defense, I also want to point out that I have helped a lot of people to stop gambling with my streams. Let's say a guy wants to gamble. He comes to watch my stream, sees my emotions and losses and lives through them and realizes that he is the lucky one not to deposit any money. I have a lot of comments like that. I'm really happy about it. It's just that I think it's f-king cringe to praise gambling. During one of the latest streams you mentioned that you have such a lingering apathy for the first time. Well, it has been like this for 2 to 2.5 months, yes. You even got triggered once and banned. Everyone who commented mean stuff. Yes. Why did you do that? I was bitter. I was angry with everyone, at everything. Because I received tenfold more negativity than positivity. The atmosphere overall was super toxic. Why was everyone so bad? A bad case had happened with me in my life. I had lost a lot of money, some casino sponsors had left me. And a lot of people had started hating me. When I won $10 million everyone was ecstatic about it. They told me I was the best in the world, top dog. And here I am, lost all of my money, I only had debt. And everyone started commenting, You're F-king beggar. So what happened to your gambling? Look at you now. You know, when you hear and read such stuff every day, especially if you have weak mental health like I do, then you take everything personally. And that infuriates you. You get mad at the world. I mean, I need some support during such hard time. I want someone to say, for FK's sake, brother, everything will be fine. You managed to solve this. You've dealt with a lot worse st. We will help. Turns out your audience or a part of it hasn't passed the loyalty test. It's probably the TikTok kids. I'm serious, these F-king kids flooded the chat. You do in fact have a lot of young, underage audience. Yeah, they watch my streams. So they join your stream. They see how you roll and win 10.5 million, then you go to Moscow to buy super expensive cars. After that they think gambling is the answer. That's the way. They want to become you, but they don't see the downside that you're deeply unhappy. At least at the current moment. Am I really that unhappy though? I'm not happy, yes. But I wouldn't call myself deeply unhappy either. I have both of my arms, legs. I'm alive and healthy. Family, career more or less. Yes, but at the same time you're a hostage to gambling. Yeah, something like that. Look, you had conflicts with 5 different online casinos. With almost all of them, yes. Why do you bite the hand that feeds? Gambling leads to this. You don't appreciate anybody. The addiction assures me that, at least, in my case, I can live happily ever after completely alone. For real. Maybe since I've been gambling for so long my brain receptors don't work in the same way, they aren't capable to produce any compassion. Perhaps, that's the reason why I haven't apologized to Morgenstern yet. I should have apologized, you know. Maybe I shouldn't, and I did everything right. The audience will decide. If it wasn't for the gambling addiction, I would have been a lot kinder. It's pretty obvious that I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I would work as a F-king electrician. For $300 a month. Would you still live in Belarus? Yes. I would have done my military duty. I would have dug the F-king mud. I would have painted the F-king snow, and that's all. Does it scare you? The 1.5 years scare me. I think army, overall, would do good for me. I would lose some weight, get buff, or at least back in shape. Are you scared of not being able to gamble for 1.5 years? You're so F-king rough for FK's sake. I've been pouring my heart out here saying that gambling SKSA. And you like, are you scared of not being able to gamble for 1.5 years? For FK's sake. You're so ruthless. Army means 1.5 years without any freedom, without people. I've gotten used to a certain lifestyle, you know? Like, I'm used to banging some chick. But in the army, who am I gonna bang? A sergeant? Or is he gonna bang me instead? His wife? Jesus F-king Christ, I have no business with other people's wives. I only made a couple of jokes. Why is everyone such a snowflake? You said that you could live happily ever after alone. 5 minutes later you said that you're used to being with people. Yes, but I meant that my addiction is trying to convince me in that. I truly believe that one needs people overall. It's just that gambling addiction does push people away from you. It assures you that you're gonna end up being alone anyway. That's what I was talking about, and that is scary. Gleb from the band 3D Nadozhdaya also told us that every gambler plays to get even. What is your goal? What are you playing for? That's my job. To make money. Considering the fact that I've reached my goals as a streamer right now. My only drive is to become ultra filthy F-king rich. And for some reason I think the only way I can achieve this is with gambling. But earlier today when I came here you were playing a little. Well, yeah, I did buy one bonus. But you didn't stream. I didn't. So you gamble not only because it's your job. This is very rare. Like, people have been asking me the same question as well. I gamble off stream. Maybe twice a month. For the past few months before that I almost didn't gamble off stream at all. I just think that if you didn't have your streams you would still gamble. I have a different opinion. If online casinos didn't sponsor my endeavor I would gamble off stream a couple more days at most after that. Lost all the money and then I would stop. Even though gambling and I go way back and I have extensive experience in that. I got used to these emotions to win and then to lose. Dopamine and right after then boom. Cortisol. To live with such mood swings is F-king horrible. How much have you lost here, at the hotel casino? $800,000 or more. Last time, yes. Overall it's in between 1.5 to $2 million. I could have streamed it, but I did it without it. Yeah, without it. Oh yeah. This is F-King Ruthless. So, as I've said before, you gamble outside of work too. I guess so. Imagine that the goal you've mentioned today, which is to become the first billionaire streamer, alright, is now a reality. Will you blow everything on gambling? I think it's hard. Perhaps, I won't become a billion-dollar streamer because of gambling. Maybe I need to make a rock but serious decision, which is to stop gambling and become a different person. There is something to my name already. I have some kind of popularity. Maybe I should take notes from some other projects. I don't know, perhaps I should create my clothing line. Just start with the basics. Merch or some ST. Then I can expand it to whiskey, for example. That's what Connor did. Yeah, and I think it's cool. Do you feel any remorse? Because of the fact that you promote gambling? My brother has been imposing this on me. I guess there is a little remorse, yeah. How exactly does he impose this on you? You know I can't quote precise wording, but you can clearly tell. He is F-King P said that I'm doing all of this. He's mad because of two reasons. The relationship with our family is going downhill, and since I'm an addict sometimes I can be very F-King rude. Sometimes I don't show the required attention and care and etc. The second, is that hogs, I mean my viewers, write him sometimes that they lost everything because of gambling. And they'd rather D. He gets mad because of all that ST. He gets emotional over these stories. Yes, he doesn't gamble, it's understandable. I'd hate to read that ST too. Just imagine, you're witnessing your own brother gambling and degrading, and his personality is literally self-destructing. It is turning into apathetic, indifferent, emotionless vegetable. I would want him to stop gambling as well. For now we are hostages of that ST. I'm used to that lifestyle. I'm used to spending so much money in 1 month. I'm used to not caring about price tags at all, even at a F-King jewelry store. And now, I have to, you know what I mean. It turns that I take my greed first before someone else's pain. Deep inside this is the ugly truth. I realize that, and I truly want to change. Whether or not I will be able to, we'll see later. What if your family makes an ultimatum for you? No more family or gambling. You're so ruthless for FK's sake. They'd say something like, either you give up gambling or you will never talk to us again. Hey, if I think about that, it means that the scales are evenly balanced. Your eyes are shining. Just listen to what the FK is happening here. Anyone else would have chosen his family over the gambling, I think. But hey, at least I was honest about it. Right now I think I would choose family too, because I'll explain. Had I chosen the gambling and became the most successful person on this planet, making one F-King million bucks a day, and I had no debts or anything, I think I'd just overdose on something. Because I understand that money is not the thing you should F-King bet it all on. Even if I chose gambling, I would see the light in a couple of years and think to myself, what an absolutely immoral choice. I mean, this is F-King insanity to choose money over your family. This is completely F-Ked up. Not money, but gambling. You know, I'm actively thinking about, because it would be very hard to just give up gambling abruptly. You know, unless every single online casino in the world told me that they were not gonna work with me ever again. Deliberately to give up this kind of money would be very hard. Maybe I do need to come back to reality, so that I can find a way to make money besides gambling. How much do you pay for rent? For my apartment? Well, apartments. Lifestyle in general? Girls. I can't say exact numbers here, but there are a lot people. I'd say around 30. My whole team girls, security workers, friends. This apartment sets me back $5,000 a day. So that would be $150,000 a month. If I pay in advance I get a little discount to $130 to $140. Oops, sorry, $130 to $120. On top of that we have extra services and entertainment like food, hookah, alcohol. This adds another $50,000 a month. I guess I spend $400,000 on that stuff in total. Are online casinos evil? Absolute evil. When you ran away into the woods, was that peak of your despair? No, it wasn't. It was back in Moscow, I was living at the Radisson Hotel. I had lost all of my money, took a 20 million rubles loan. I was only making 200,000 rubles a day then. So I'd have to work for at least 4 to 5 months, you know, something to live on, and work. Before I could pay off my loan. I was so discouraged that I had suicidal thoughts. There was this one time, this was in autumn, by the way. I ran outside from the hotel, without my shoes on, running towards the river. You know that hotel, there is this river right across the street. You'd have to walk only 200 meters to get to it. I ran through a road police post, they looked at me like what the FK. So I got to the river and just stopped by the fence and that's it. By that time a friend of mine ran to me, and tried to calm me down and stop me from doing any silly things. Something like that. That's what gambling is. Mind you, I had had suicidal thoughts before. That is what scares me the most. Do you have them each time because of gambling addiction? Yes, just because of it and nothing else. Not because I don't have a girlfriend or because I drink, no. I mean all of that is kinda sad but it's whatever. Gambling addiction, on the other hand is a f-king nightmare. I am lucky because I get paid to gamble by online casinos. I can't imagine what it's like when a guy works for a month, regular job, or for 6 months watch job at minus 50 degrees Celsius. He made his 1,000,000 rubles just to blow it all in one night. If I were that guy I'd be f-king gone. So today I lost, got into debt but tomorrow I'll get a free deposit. I'll have another chance to start from scratch. Every day. I really don't know what regular people should do in that case. You also said, Ryndych in his interview to Amaran mentioned that you would end up like this. Was he, perhaps, correct? Ryndych in this interview to Amaran said that both Morgenstern and I will end up DNG by suicide. For real. This might be the case if I don't give up gambling. Bad habits, certain habits which is consuming alcohol, then yes. Does this finale scare you? Not at all. I know 1,000,001 way how to die elegantly. Who or what supports you when you are at your lowest? People, my family, my brother, my mom. They always support me. Doesn't matter how rude or cold I get towards them, they will always say that everything is gonna be fine, don't worry, don't stress out. Just to cheer me up. Sometimes people whom I've known for a long time write me too. Sometimes it kind of feels nice but sometimes, when I'm in a really dark place. These words are a mere f-king dust that does nothing. What do you usually do off stream? I drink. I see people who I came here with. We just drink, listen to music, hang out. And then half alive we come home at 5 or 6 in the morning and go to bed. How many times a week do you drink? I'd say around 3 to 4 times. I mean when I actually get a dense drink, really dense. Dense meaning a glass of whiskey? No, meaning that I drink often. Whoa, what is this flying thing? It's a big ass bumblebee. Where is it? No, it has just landed on your ass. No, I can feel that. I'm kidding. I would be able to feel that. When did you first start drinking, by the way? I have been drinking since I was 18. Now I'm 25. So it's been 7 years. So you hadn't had any alcohol before you were 18? Not at all. I mean I did boxing, just so you understand. I would think twice about having a Whopper from Burger King because it is bad for your shape, your health, and all that st. Right now I can eat a burger without even realizing that. So I have been out of shape. Either way, I still believe that I will have enough willpower to change myself for the better. Now that's a feast. Huh? Yeah. Happens every time. I see you eat well. F-king hefty. So you love pizza. You brought buckwheat here. Is that a tribute to your motherland? Barbecue. You even ordered some soup. A broth with 7 CKS. F-king a pasta, salad, casino lad. Casino lad, French fries, of course. I just don't want to eat too much. Just snack on it, like an appetizer. How exactly did your life change after you were put on a wanted list again? Look. I came to Russia 2 or 3 months ago, right? Yes. Was I on the wanted list at the time? You were. But it was gone. It was. Because you promised to help. On February 13th, 2024, mellstroy was wanted in Russia and Belarus for evading military service. In March, Andrei promised to buy sports equipment for orphanages in Belarus. After that, Mel stopped being pursued, but was put on the wanted list again in May. No. No. Of course not. What the FK? Where on earth have you seen law enforcement that removes people from a wanted list just for a promise to help them? I have never seen such bull's tea. It doesn't work like that. So how were you able to come back to Russia exactly? Well, how? Some lawyers kinda helped. Lawyers? Yes. Lawyers. Or one lawyer. I guess so. What a cool lawyer you have. I guess, I don't know. I have never even met him before. You know, as they say, better call Saul. Yeah, better call Saul when you were flying to Moscow. Did you realize, well, that this could be a one-way ticket? I was nervous, but I knew that the likelihood of this happening was around 60 to 70%. I thought they would arrest me right at the airport. They would take me to the police station first and then, let there be the light. Oh no, Maya is too tight. That was a good one. But everything went well, in fact. Why did you decide to take the risk? Why the risk? Because I had been sick and f***ing tired of traveling to different cities. I wanted to see something familiar, something that reminded me of my homeland. Even though I'm Belarusian, you know, I really wanted to see Russian-speaking people with whom I can converse. I don't want any I don't f***ing understand the English language. Anyway, I really wanted to go to strip clubs I had been to before. See my old pals. That's it. I wanted to feel as if I was home again. Let's clarify one thing about this sport equipment that you promised. You bought it eventually. Yeah. I bought it for hockey players. What hockey players? If I'm not mistaken, we bought it for a kids' hockey club. We purchased equipment for one group. On top of that, I created this Telegram channel. Named it Helps Troy Like. This is where we help people. We haven't posted anything for a long time. But about 4 days ago my mom sent me certificate for my name. From Novozybkovsky orphanage. Anyway, we do help sometimes. We fixed the roof in one of the orphanages in Gomel. But they don't really appreciate it when I help them. Why? I guess it's because I'm a bad person? Maybe. 10. You came to Moscow to visit the places of your former glory, as they say. Like strip clubs, just to remember what it was like. And at the same time, you are in a market for cars. I hadn't planned it. I decided that spontaneously. You had just won your $10.5 million. Yes, just a few days before that. How much did you owe at the time? $2 million. Did you pay it off? No. Why not? That's the point. When I had the 10.5, I was supposed to. I didn't pay off the guys who I took the $2 million loan from. Why not? I really don't understand it myself. I'm just AF King, I'm Sile. That's it. I had the most amount of money I had ever had. Now I won 10.5 million. Before that I had won some money. I made some money. I had 17 million bucks when I came to Moscow. Just in a wallet on my phone. F King bucks. And I don't even F King know, I hadn't paid off the 2 million yet. And I was just detached from everything completely, that I just wanted to rest, to meet up with someone and go to clubs. And just, so that I forget about everything for a brief moment. For me it's a weird situation to be in when you owe $2 million. I understand and I agree with you completely. And at the same time you go to a club and throw the money left and right. Yeah, I threw away 20 F-King million rubles that night in the Timothy Club. 20 million? Yeah. I just threw it out the window. I mean, I was on the second floor and the crowd was on the first. It was bussin'. But it's the first time when you have the money and instead of paying off your debts. I produced content, yes. It's because I knew that if I gave all my money, I would be left with nothing at all. I wouldn't have enough to produce some viral content again. I feel like it's so convenient for you to say, I was AF King, I'm Sile. Meaning if you say it once, I was stupid, but I won't do it again, then you change something. But if you keep having the same pattern, then it gets weird. I made a mistake in Moscow. In any other cases, let's say I borrow $1 million from someone. Okay, I win 2 million. But it took me 2 million to produce such content. That my average online increased from 5 to 10,000 people. From 10 to 20 and etc. Just so you understand, another example. When I shaved every streamer's head bald, I was in a lot of debt. I could have paid it off instead of shaving their heads. I just knew that I would take more loan from the same very guys with a new interest. And then I would become a king squirrel in a wheel. Because I took risk and sacrificed. I didn't pay off my loan sharks. At that exact moment. In general, I give it to them. They just wait a long time. I invested that money into shaving the streamers' heads. Because of that, we had a lot more viewers. People started recognizing me and so on. The content was actually beneficial for everybody. Even if the loan sharks have some claims with me. I don't necessarily agree with it. Because they get paid a higher interest for every single day of late payment. If I took a $100,000 loan at 15% a month, I would pay you back, let's say in a 2 months 15 plus 15. I guess around 130K. Something like that. And on top of that some extra for the delay. Do they have to wait for a long time? The longest time I made someone wait was 9 months. Initially I took a loan for $50,000. I don't remember when was the due day. But it was a short period, it could range from couple of weeks to couple of months. I paid him back in 9 months. But I paid 50% of the initial price. So I took 50 and paid back 75. We would like to show you our notebook of loan sharks. Yeah. This is where we keep track how much I owe different people. Here's the number of people, Crystal. I remember I owe him 10,000. I owe Dennis some money, I even have their wallet info. I owe some people $140,000, some 70, other 40, 10, $460,000, 1 million rubles. What is your grand total debt here? My grand total is around $2.5 million, for FK's sake. Did you take any loans just to gamble? Yes, I did take loans for that. From some people, yes. And you promised to pay them back with interest? Yes. I mean that's how they make their money. I've been doing this for years. Do you have any people that you took a loan from but for some reason you didn't include them in the notebook? This might have happened because of my bad memory, but anyway we still have all the info on Telegram. Let's talk about cars. You came to Moscow with a bag of money and you decide to go and get some cars. Why? Is that how you save up? Yes, my first goal was to save up some money. The second reason was that I realized that this ST is discussed. More content for my Telegram feed at least. We just went to the showroom and I took 5 of these cars for myself. It doesn't exactly make you go viral, but it gets the job done. Look, I purchased a 500 million ruble car. So you don't really like cars? No, I don't even have a driving license. Moreover, I think it may stem from the childhood dreams, to get myself a Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, Lambo, King Bentley one day. It's kinda cool being able to make your dreams a reality. All of these cars you purchased from Yuri Jetkar. You had known each other before. Yes, we had known each other for a few years. We even hung out couple times here and there. How did you even get that idea to purchase a Bugatti? Bugatti. That costs around 4.5 million. $4,500,000. $4.5 million. Which is roughly 420 million Russian rubles. It's way too overpriced. When I came to Yuri to get more cars for the second time, he came up to me and told me there was this unique option, an exclusive car, that we should discuss it. I thought it over for a little and asked him whether or not it required a prepayment. He said, yes, I need $500,000, I bring it here. And when it's here you'll pay the rest and that's F-king it. Few weeks went by, I sent him 1.6 million in one payment. Apart from those 500k, I sent him 1.6 million because I thought, well, at least there had been 500,000 already, plus this, it is more than 30% of the car total price. Even more. I thought after that I'd just send lower payments every now and then and that's it. As it turned out, he had been telling everyone that all this had been a prepayment. Overall, why did you need this performance? Just because it was the most expensive car? I had wanted to come to Moscow for the second time only if I had a car. Bugatti. I mean it's creme de la creme. As it turned out, I had been put on the wanted list once again, for the second time in Russia. So I texted Yuri saying that I didn't really need the car anymore and I wanted my 1.6 million back. but you can keep the initial 500,000. And that's how it all started. Yura said that you had agreed on a bigger prepayment. $500,000. That was the prepayment. I sent 1.6 million because I had just won it. And I was thinking, why not put it to good use? I would find a way to blow it anyway. Okay. We didn't even sign any documents or agreements. Everything was agreed on his honest word. Do you still have the chat history with him? No. Why not? We talked about prepayments in real life. Also, when I talked to Yura, he mentioned that when he received the money, he let you know that he received the full prepayment, X amount. And later you deleted the chat history. It didn't make much sense because I was emotional. But I guess the only question is how much was the initial prepayment, right? So if I was able to prove that the payment was 500,000, this would make Yuri's arguments invalid. Look, roughly speaking, we have two opinions. Your word against his. Perhaps, if we had the chat history, it would shed some light. I deleted chat history as soon as I realized him and Timov had FK'd me over. What Timov has to do with anything in that story? I thought it was between you and Yuri only. When I was streaming, I mentioned that I had some issues with Bugatti. Timov started bombarding me with messages for a whole month. He really needed to help me. He talked so politely, he kind of charmed me with this kindness of his. Andre, I will help you for sure. Andre, please accept my help, everything will be fine. It took me a month to think whether or not to accept his F-King help. It really got me thinking whether or not there was some kind of trick. I just couldn't find what it was. Eventually, having thought everything over, I said, alright, FK it. Go ahead and help me, so he came to Yuri. They talked about something. Without me. And that's all. He confirmed that he took 550,000 from Yuri. Did he confirm this to you? Yes, he sent me a message. I was smart enough to forward these messages to myself, so I have proof. He wrote this yesterday. And, regardless of everything, I offered him another solution. He gets to keep the 100,000 for his service. But he needs to give me my 450,000 back. After that, I record a video where I confirm that everything has been settled, no conflict anymore, case closed. His response was that I'm F-King insane, and if he ever sees me again, I will regret it. You know what I mean. He emphasized it a few times. That it wouldn't be him who would be beating me up. mellstroy, look, I have an argument. An actual fact. Vazhya, but you're in a weak position here. I have a chat with Timov where we talked yesterday. He confirmed the fact that when he came to Yuri, he took $550,000 from him. Okay. If Yuri claims that the whole prepayment was 1.6 million, why on earth would he settle for 550,000? I told Timov, okay, go. He had been asking me if he could help me so many times. Yeah. Well, alternatively, he came to Yuri, showed our chat, and Yuri, out of his pocket, gives him $550,000. Perhaps, there would have been no opportunities in the nearest future. Of course they didn't have any opportunities. Sure. Why didn't he just give me the money back? Why not me? Him? Why Timov? Yuri put me on the spot. We settled everything with Timov, we were fine. I asked him what had happened, all the details about the transaction. He went, asked Timov. I wrote Timov, he doesn't even read my messages. What the hell is that supposed to mean? I mean, this is debatable. Imagine that we have some kind of financial transaction. I send you my trustee, for example, Vanya. You and Vanya are not getting along and can't get things solved. But he is still my trustee. After that, you hand over X amount of money to him that he is supposed to deliver for me. And he doesn't show up. But it was me who sent Vanya to you in the first place. Yeah, but why nobody reconciled any of this with me? Why can't I know the details about the transaction? What the FK is that? I asked him directly, what happened between you two? Okay, if you believed my trustee Tomov, then what the? Why can't you tell me? Why did you scream at the top of your lungs that the whole amount was a prepayment? And now you give 550,000 back? What a F-King nonsense. What conclusions have you made from this particular case? Let's add something else to that. Timov told me today that if there's any mention of this whole story in there, he'll make sure the Vipiska doesn't put it all in. Plus, by the way, he threatened that him and I are gonna meet. And he said that he would make me feel very uncomfortable. Life will get back at him. Karma's ABCH. I really want to let go of the grudge against Yuri and Timov. Are you ready to let it go though? I am. I have been thinking about it lately. For some reason Timov has a god's syndrome. He thinks of himself as if he is the most influential person on the planet. He told me that I would realize why I can't insult him. He FKS me over for $500,000 and he has the audacity to F-King threaten me. Like, we'll meet up for sure soon. FK. The absurdity level never ceases to surprise me. Did you try to sell this car? Or do something with it? It's not technically mine. I didn't pay in full. I only paid 1.6 million for it. So there was a variety of options as I get it. Firstly, you had your cars stored at Yuri's warehouse and you could have sold those cars to cover the Bugatti. Or you could sell Bugatti and try to get some money out of it back. These are not my problems. These are his problems. I think that's fair. It's such a complex situation because as I get it, it was purchased. She was shipped to Russia. She is in Russia. I don't give AFK, he doesn't give AFK about my life, that I'm in debt. Why would I give AFK about his problems that he took a loan to bring the car here? I know what I heard. There were other people too. There was the crowd of people trying to persuade me to buy the car from him. Do it, do it. Just give me the $500,000 and that's all. We start the process, everything will be a-okay. What the FK do you mean 1.6 million? Don't you think it's a bit too much to just throw away like that? Just look. What a FK'd up situation is this? He is left with a car, they have 1.6 million. I have nothing. Negative 1.6 million. Why is it only me who suffers then? Is it true that he offered you to sell this car but this would take a few months? He said he offered you this option, but you said that you need money now. I don't remember any of this ST. Is it true that he sent you a pre-trial claim? Yes. Does it bother you? No. Why would it bother me? I mean, litigation is not exactly pleasant. No. He sent the lawsuit for 200 million rubles for defamation. And that's all. After all those conflicts, have you revised your security measures? Did you get more bodyguards? Well, yeah, some changes have been made. More or less. So it did bother you? I mean, I do realize who I deal with. I know how F-King unscrupulous, immoral and cruel they can be. It lust. You know, we all forget when we talk ST about someone. We all forget that we consist of flesh and blood. You are no exception. Exactly. Those who have God's syndrome forget about it a little. Did you ever have moments when you helped homeless people to get warm, give them money? Yes, it was in Moscow, by the way. What do you feel at that very moment? Something nice and pleasant. It's as if, damn, I was able to help someone out. There was one homeless guy. His name was Liaha. Okay. I came to KFC once, saw that there was a homeless dude, so I came up to him and met him. Anyway, I fed him and gave him 300 to 350,000 rubles. We took him and went together. On a strip club rage. Yes, it took some negotiating before they let him in. And we washed him. Funny thing, it was the strippers who washed him. Not gonna lie, the reek was horrid. Either way, the girls washed him. I mean, for him it was literally his first time to experience something like that. Sometimes stuff like this happen. So we hung out and everything. I even tried to talk to him, but the dude was not having it. He was dumb. 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 You're such a devil tempter. Do you think he can go back to normal life? I help someone, people call me CKS Kerr. I don't help anyone, people still call me CKS Kerr. You know, it's never enough. You said you had been bullied. Aha. Were you bullied by boys only or girls of your age as well? By the way, girls didn't bully me. Mostly it was some guys. It carried on in college. It went on. For me, bullying is when someone tries to insult others. That's how he asserts himself. That's the basic ST. What was your worst day at college like? There was this some gypsy guy. I saw him for the first time, we just shook our hands to greet each other. And he went, "I will break your F-king hand." I was like, why? What happened? What the FK? Just out of the blue. This was at the F-king school gym. I went to men's locker room after that ST. I came in and, just to find out my F-king shoes had been tied together with shoelaces. My F-king school bag had been thrown out the window. My belt had been cut up with a F-king knife. All of my personal belongings were in the trash can. All of my clothes. I was F-king shocked. I hadn't said a word to anyone. I hadn't had any conflicts whatsoever. Just for no F-king reason. So I got F-king P said. I just left. I went to see my mom at the convenience store. She said I should get all the documents and just find another college instead. Yes, I couldn't beat all of them up. I had no one to call for help to get back at them. I couldn't do anything. But I wouldn't tolerate that ST. I'd rather be a F-king homeless all my life rather than tolerate that ST. My mom told my dad everything. So I was like, I'm not going to that college again. My parents woke me up the following morning and told me to get up and come. I asked, where are we going? To the college. They replied. So we go outside, we drive to this college. My dad asked me to show him where our class manager was. So he told me to walk him to our classroom. That was F-king insane. I was both embarrassed and happy at the same time. That was rough, not gonna lie. So they talked, right? We come up there but the classroom was closed but the dude who had done everything was there. So in front of everybody, my dad asked me to point at the person who had done this to me. BCHAHHFK. I'm shocked. Literally 1 second passes by. And I point at the gypsy guy. He came up to him, took his F-king head and just beat the FK out of him. Your father? Yes, for FK's sake. I was F-king embarrassed and shocked. The class master showed up. And he is yelling at my dad, what the hell are you doing? So eventually, we took my documents without any legal repercussions and left. So this ST happened and I'm sure it damaged my F-king psyche. All of this. To see that stuff. Tolerating such a horrible attitude from ethnic bums. Listen, your dad stood up for you. Well, listen, right now I understand that. Back then I did not appreciate it whatsoever. I thought he was F-king stupid. Come to think of it, I should have been able to stand up for myself. Imagine you have a son, who is facing bullying at school. Would you do the same thing for him? Honestly, I don't know. But let's imagine you're alone with his bully. No bodyguards around. I mean if my kid is being bullied. For no ethnic reason and I knew that for a fact. I think I would get very emotional. I wouldn't have common sense or logic I think. My logic would probably tell me to go beat the FK out of the bully. I mean every parent would stand up for his kid, I think. Perhaps that some of the people who will watch this interview would have the same experience at school or college. What is your advice for them? I'm giving you a real piece of advice here. Do not ever take these insults or tolerate such attitude. Maybe you should even ask for help. Ask your friends to come and help you beat the motherfucker up. Explain the situation to your parents that you don't want to study there anymore. Because you're being made fun of and you don't want to be a doormat. Tell your parents. For parents, try to find a good martial arts club for your kid. Your best bet would be boxing. But do not ever tolerate that shit because this will backlash at you years later. If you tolerate all the humiliation, the insults, all of that dirt. These motherfuckers also do it publicly. They do it in front of everybody for FK's sake. Assert themselves. That's how they assert themselves, yes. Go learn some useful skill, work hard, you will become a lot more successful than any of those bums that are your classmates. But never tolerate it. The most important thing. Do you realize why they saw a victim in you? More or less. Why? Because I did not instill any fear or respect. Just so you understand, I was the thinnest person in the class. So when I got into college my weight was around 50 kilograms. In that very college I have just told you about, where I had my shoelaces tied in etc. You wanna know what happened before that? The reason why I couldn't take this anymore. So this 80-kilogram dude came up to me. So he weighed over 30 kilograms more than I did. He came up to me in the school cafeteria. So he asked a question. I don't remember what the FK he asked. So I just answered, yeah, or something like that. And all of a sudden he just slammed my head with his huge ass forehead. After that I had a bump this big. Literally anyone could beat me up. Anyone. So I'm really grateful to them for making me who I am now for FK's sake. On a bright note, some of them would love to work for me now. Tell me, how has your father's passing changed you? Has it at all? That's the question. I found out about it on my stream. So I just cried on stream for FK's sake. Title, mellstroy cried over his father's death on the stream. I was FG devastated. I knew that he had had cancer and Sir, brother, was looking after him. Sir hadn't been to Moscow for half a year, he was looking after my dad in Gomel. I couldn't really come back to Gomel, only. My dad was in horrible condition, he had terminal cancer where his liver had metastasis. That's really FG sad. It was such a shame that I had only seen him 5 months prior to that. To be quite honest, Sir offered me to come incognito. But I refused. I got scared. For the funeral or? No, it was when he was still alive. But it was pretty obvious that he was dying. Were you mad at yourself for not doing this? I don't think so. You can't change it, so I don't see any point in scolding. Do you think he would be proud of you? He started his own channel. He started streaming. He was really surprised to find out how cool it actually was to go live and make money off of it. He was super curious about it. He actually streamed for a long time and his peak numbers were 3,000 online viewers. Mind you, I did not help him in any way. At all. I never promoted or shared any links for his streams. Literally a year before his death he had been streaming like that. He was making money. He made the most money himself. 300 or 400,000 rubles a month. He was proud of himself. I think that he is proud of me. When Sir and I were fighting he would always try to reconcile us. Now it's my mom who does this. I think he is proud of me and Sir. FK. He was proud. Would you want to go back to Gomel at some point? Just to hang out. Listen, I wouldn't be able to live there. But I couldn't live there anymore. My life would never be peaceful again. But I would mind coming for a week or 2 UST to walk around the city. See some people, see their reactions to me. They would be surprised too. I'm a very well-known person in Gomel. To see my native places. To pay a visit to my grandmother. You know, my grandmother, she is old now. She actually called me not long ago saying that she would not make it to next year. She asked me if I could come see her before she dies. Is it possible to bring her here instead? She is super old. She won't be able to travel? People are FG with me just because I decided not to serve my military duty. I'm being judged for not doing anything bad. Literally nothing. You see, you must pay your duties to your motherland, FGBCH. I understand if they convicted me of something really bad that I had actually done. There are few options. I would go straight to TDF for 6 days and they would fine me. Or public service for not doing my military duty. And when my criminal record is clean they would send me in handcuffs to the F-King Army for 1.5 years. That's how it's gonna go. Do you have real friends? Let's define a friend. Let's do it. What does a friend mean to you? I guess, a friend for me is someone who won't get happy over your loss in the first place. On the other hand, he would support when you're at your lowest, help you in any way. A friend is someone who you genuinely enjoy spending time with. So it's not about seeing the bad in me but also something good. I guess there has to be some kind of sacrifice too between friends. What do you imply by that? Would he be my friend if he decided to go snitch me out to cops if I somehow broke the law? Under the most stressful situations, I'd really appreciate it if my friend kept his mouth shut when he is being interrogated by the police. Even if I broke the law. Now, do you have at least one real friend? Who meets the criteria? Surim does. My brother and hence my friend, right? Absolutely. My mom also meets the criteria. Even though it's a bit harder to call my mom a friend. I mean, I enjoy spending time with her and everything, but it's different. I think there is one guy. At least one. Who? His name is Sanya. He is 4 to 5 years younger than me. He is pretty smart, he helps me too. I think of him as my friend. You know, I have this problem that we still sort things out with people who are surrounding me. Meaning I want to be friends with them not only when I win money and then we just go blow it all on alcohol or some stupid shit. I can't really call such people my friends. Really, I just can't. Who are they? They are my companions. I wouldn't even call them ass lickers, no. I think I need their presence because being alone sucks ass. It's horrible. Has this guy named Igor ever been your friend? To be honest, yes. You know what? I'm gonna tell you right away, I'm the person who made him lick women's feet. Yes. Yes. So for me content was more important than friendship. You made him lick feet. Kissed his girl, threw his phone, made him cry. I think the kiss with his girl was agreed upon for the content with him. But I feel like he didn't really mind. Well yeah, I agree with you. This is not exactly normal. But that's the point. Everything comes down to hype once again. Career comes first. It is more important than friends, than FG everything, even more important than health. What did you feel when he took a knife? This happened. When I called his girl, Marina, but she was his ex at the time. She told me on that stream he had been stealing money from me. That's why he tried to FG stab himself or something. So that I would stop talking to her. Because she could reveal a lot more stuff about him, as I get it. Some real FG dirt. Horrible. The thing is, Igor confessed that he in fact had been stealing money from me. Maybe I deserved it, maybe not. From the viewer's perspective his looks like bullying. I really don't see any difference between that and shoelaces tied together or cut up belt. I think I can call it friendship because we did all the normal things together. We would smile, laugh, go to restaurants, clubs, meet girls, etc. Yes, Igor is a bit dumb but you know what we called that? We made an inside joke about it. Handsome Igor has produced some content. He didn't get triggered to that. Yes, but it's just that he was happy. He was truly happy. All of us were. The only thing that it was a bit ruthless, I think. At times he didn't look happy at all. And one could assume you tried to assert yourself on Igor because of your past college experience. Or that. This looked anything but ideal friendship. This is understandable. But this is toxic friendship. Listen, we all had to turn a blind eye to deal with this, him included. It's because we were growing. And we were paid to do that. I don't think you can compare it to college, really. Why do you think Budka betrayed you? I really didn't like him, I don't know, I feel like he enjoyed it. He was a really close assistant of mine, sometimes he would sleep in my apartment. We didn't sleep in the same bed, obviously. He would crash on the couch in the living room. Why did he leak your information? I assume. He really loves money. He doesn't have any morals. He can tolerate a lot of stuff because of that, but his true identity will reveal itself in the end anyway. He has a very cunning side to him. That's the way he is, but I really liked him as my personal assistant. Even when people were mad at him, called him names or just were rude to him, he would never get offended at all, he would just smile. He understood and said, everything is fine. Well, you were the one who told him to go FK himself. Yes, I did. He was my anti-stress toy. Could it be that he just got tired of being just an anti-stress toy? Just tell me about it then. Just say that you're really FG tired. Why would you lie or, even worse, rat me out? He tolerated for the money. At some point he thought he couldn't take it anymore. He got tired of not being taken seriously. That's why I will rat him out. That will teach him a FG lesson. Okay. Makes sense. You treat people like shit, they do the same in response, okay. Then it's all fair. Is it true that you really trusted him? He used to be in my inner circle. Is it true that half of your cars are legally his? Wow, a great question. Yes, it is true. How the FK did you find that out? Word on the street. Just so you know, he legally owns them up to this day. Yes. Even after all, he legally owns them up to this day. Can he take them from you? He can, yes he can. But I don't think he will. Why? Well, someone will randomly beat him up. He will get beaten up every week. But he hasn't done that, so everything's fine. Everything is FGA. Just for your information, I still help him to this day. I send him money for clothes, food. So you maintain good relationship? Yes, we do. Does your health bother you? Yes. I have been thinking about it a lot for the past year or two. This is good. Sometimes I skip a party or drink less because of that. Last checkup I had was around 3 years ago. This is not good. I was gonna go and check all of my systems. I'm sure we'll find something because of the stress, alcohol, the food that is not always healthy. Do you believe in the concept of sin and reckoning? No, never have. But it's as if my life proves me wrong. If someone wrongs another person, insulted or hurt his feelings, as if some shit happens to you after some time. In general, I don't think I believe in it. You don't? I'm more of a realist. Don't you think that the stuff you're going through, betrayals, addictions, rock bottom, etc., this is a boomerang? I think this is just a coincidence. I mean seriously, I gamble all the time and you don't have to be Einstein to know what this leads to, even without doing anything bad to other people. Can you call yourself a lonely person? You know there is 2 degrees to loneliness. When the crowd surrounds you but nobody understands you. And sometimes there is only one person instead of the crowd. But he understands you completely and that makes you not a lonely F-king person. So in that sense, I think I have a little problem here right now. I don't think I'm lonely. No. I'm really not. When you get drunk with the crowd, all the girls are next to you, don't you feel lonely at that moment? I do feel a bit unease, yes. I think there is some loneliness in that. Sometimes you enjoy talking. You know, play Mafia. Last time they taught me how to play that game. I really loved it, it was so much fun. We played for 5 or 6 hours straight. To sum up, there is a certain degree of loneliness. But it can be fixed by socializing. Do you want to get married and have kids? I don't know about getting married, but I would love to have kids. Why not? You know, it's somewhat a natural instinct that comes from within, to procreate. And when you do end up procreating, you immediately stop thinking about all the stupid shit as, okay, maybe I just need to KL myself and not carry on the family line. Would you call yourself a happy person? More yes than not. It is hard, but it is slowly changing. I was apathetic, then you came and it's all gone now. I feel a lot better. When were you truly happy last time? To be quite honest, when I was 17 or 18. I didn't even drink at the time. When I was undressing at chat roulette. That was the happiest time of my life. If you could go back to your 17 and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be? Jump off of an alcohol and gambling train when you are 22. Just promise yourself that. And that's all. Perhaps, it's better not to jump on it in the first place. Listen, I really have become the most popular Russian-speaking gambling streamer. I'd say I'm pretty successful in my industry. Take Morgenstern for example, he tried streaming. What was his viewer count? That's ridiculous. Really. Litvin, for example, also said that I'll be housekeeper. If he streamed gambling even at his 5th stream, he would have at least 10 to 15,000 less audience than I do. They don't even know what they are talking about. How to conduct such a stream, what strings to pull to get emotional response from the audience, how to act, etc. You're saying it as if you're really proud of your gambling streams. Well, I am successful, yes. In the end, you are an addict. Meaning an addiction is a sickness. So you, being an addict, trying to gamble with yourself, your own pains and issues. I have a unique trait. I was able to monetize my weakness. What do you think future holds for you when you're 30? Well, if I can't get over my weaknesses, alcohol, gambling addiction, then it's very sad. If I can, then I will be the happiest person ever, for myself. How many times have you promised yourself something and lied to yourself? Multiple times, that's for sure. This had to do with 2 things. Gambling. A promise not to take any loans anymore or not to gamble anymore. I broke those promises. Same with alcohol. Turns out, your inner drive is weaker than these 2 sicknesses of yours. Perhaps, I need more attempts. Not everyone gives up after their first attempt. It doesn't mean that I will give up trying though. Have you considered a rehab? That's the last resort. I will go to some really nice place without any network or anything. Something like Zubarev was telling about, but with more comfort. He was locked in a freaking basement. Yes, but he has a different story. He was there so because he was a threat to himself. I just want to live in a remote village for couple months and it will be fine. Let's say that you got into debt that you can't get out of, your popularity is gone. What now? Can you imagine this? Then, I would lower the bar of my own morals and become inhumane to get on a hype train again. I might even get into situations where I will be absolutely wrong. But at least this will bring my F-King numbers back. You're playing with gas because you need gas. I'm playing with matches to spark up my fire for my career. Everyone does that. Literally everyone. But everyone thinks there's some F-King saints. You do realize that you have an image of a evil person who beat up women, who promoted and hooked on gambling a lot of people, who, in the end, made his friend lick feet. How do you feel about this? You forgot to include that I was a pedophile too. We can add that to the list. Yes, we can. I don't give a shit about that at all. It happened, so what? If you knew all the details or if you were in my shoes, you would probably do the same. Maybe you wouldn't. Who the FK knows? I beat women. Anyway, I took full responsibility for my deeds already. Do you consider yourself evil? Do I consider myself evil? You know what's gonna happen? Everyone thinks I'm evil, but in a couple of years they will probably realize that I actually wasn't one. Do you want it? Do I think that I'm evil? FK, no, I don't. So people who see the evil in you, they are mistaken? Clearly I'm far from being perfect. The before-mentioned list was pretty lengthy and extended, I would say. FK, yeah, it was. Well, I do believe I have more positive and kind inside of me than negative. Are you tired of being mellstroy? Not yet. Do you ever wish you want to escape somewhere and live another life? I actually had such thoughts, but I think I'd go insane after a few weeks or a couple of months. I even have a thought to travel Amazon forests, Africa, collect some shit. Some rare F-King butterflies, for example. A collection of super rare F-King insects. You know. Put them back on my shelf. And each time I would pass by I would remember everything I had to go through to catch it. And that is hella cool. Why insects? It doesn't have to be insects. That just came randomly. We can catch a F-King rhino, wax coat him and put him in the F-King living room, alive. Do you really want to kill a rhino? Or a butterfly for that matter? No, no. It is so pretty. I want to come up to a rhino, give him 20 kilograms worth of meat so that he dies while being high from overeating. And then wax coat him and bring him on the helicopter back home. Do you think rhinos eat meat? Are they herbivorous? Anyway, I want to give him 50 F-King kilograms of grass. An urge to destruct. Let him live. Make one of a drywall. Or just take pictures. Then put them on your walls. There you have the memory from the trip. You don't have to KL anyone for this. That's a really F-King smart idea. Can you purchase everything? No. Name me 3 things that you can't buy. I'd want to say your health, but can certainly improve it with money, not necessarily buy. That's why yes, your health. True love. You will never be able to buy true love for any type of money. That kind of love when you lose your mind completely so that the person decides to stalk you, like I did, huh? This shit can't be bought. I think you can't buy a true family either. Can you buy respect? Yes. Do you remember that feeling when you go outside? And there are a bunch of kids 6 to 7-year-olds and all of you are waiting for that guy to come out just because he had a PlayStation. Or computer for that matter, and everyone is shocked. How the FK? Or he comes out and he has, you remember those caps? Yes, of course. So he has an insane collection of caps and everyone knows this guy's parents are very loaded. This is not exactly about respect. This is about being envious. Of course they envy him and they even lick his ass. Meaning they're trying to. That's an artificial respect. They lick ass so the rich person would be loyal to them or showed them some attention. Do you think mellstroy is respected? Depends on who you're asking. The industry, the audience, random people in general. I'd say 60 to 40. 60% respect, 40% hate me. How do you think you will be remembered? How will I be remembered? Well, Zoomer might remember me as a guy who slammed a girl's head on the F-King table. He promoted gambling, you, FK no. Something like this. Someone will remember my positive traits. Someone will say I grew up watching his streams. Someone might say, he had the best parties. Someone might say that he had the best gambling streams ever. Yes, even that. Very few people would say this, but it's still cool. So you will be remembered overall. I would say they will remember more positive stuff than negative ones.